Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a Boeing 737 pilot and a member of PMDG's tech team. And welcome to Amsterdam Schiphol Airport and the PMDG 737-900. We're going to take our airplane today from Amsterdam towards London Heathrow and then back to Amsterdam, discovering a couple of the differences of the PMDG 737-900 aircraft. Now, the first difference is kinda obvious if you're looking at the airplane. The 900 is about 2.8 meters longer than the 737-800 and therefore the longest in the 737 series. Now, today we are going to fly the 737-900 and not the 737-900ER. And those of you who are familiar with the airplane types or have seen my earlier videos will probably notice that there is no door at the back of the airplane. And the reason for that is that the 737-900, as it was originally built by Boeing, only had 8 exits and therefore allowed a maximum of 189 passengers, just like the 737-800 did, only with a little bit more room in the cabin. Now, this actually proved not to be a very popular model, and therefore the 737-900ER has been introduced, which featured an extra exit and therefore had the ability to seat up to 220 passengers. Now, the 900 itself is not quite a popular model compared to the 900ER, but a couple operators still fly them, and we have picked one of them today, which is going to be KLM. Now, there will be a second live stream in which I'm going to feature the 900ER with a popular US operator, but that's going to be right on release day. Now, talking about release day, I'm sure many of you have seen the video already. PMDG has announced the release date of the 737-900 and the 900ER to be the 7th of April. No, just kidding, the 7th of February. From approximately 1800 UTC onwards. So that's what we're expecting. Now, let's take the airplane out for a flight and see if it actually is ready for release. So we'll go right over into the cabin, first of all. And the reason I want to start this in the cabin is because I want to show you the reasons why the 900 itself is quite a popular model indeed. Well, the 900ER, I mean. The 900 itself, however, is pretty much the same from the internals. So let's be a little look into the cabin itself. Most airlines that fly the 900 do so in a 2-class configuration, and this is the one that we have installed in this airplane either. We can see we've got 12 first-class seats in here, and then we've got 153, if I'm not mistaken, economy-class seats. Now, let's have a quick look into what those first-class seats actually look like. And mostly into the legroom, because that is the primary difference between the 900 and the 800 in terms of the cabin layout. Especially if we look up here in the economy class, you will see that we have quite a bit of legroom available in front of the seats over here. Now, that much about the cabin of the 900, then let's go out and have a look into where most of us are going to spend the majority of their time, which is of course the cockpit. The first thing you'll notice in the cockpit is that there are not so many changes to the 800 if you just look at the standard 737-900. In the ER, you have a couple extra switches for the auxiliary fuel tanks, provided that they are installed, but I'm going to cover that in the live stream featuring the ER. For today, we'll have a look into the 900 itself. A lot of the 900 aircraft are actually pretty old, so for example the one we are flying right now is 22 years old, and this is reflected in the system configuration of the airplane. Now we are currently sitting in the KLM livery, and this is a real-life airline config of the KLM 737-900 provided by a real KLM pilot to PMDG. Now, you are going to say, hold on a moment, if I Google for KLM 737-900 then I will find pictures with different configurations. And that is true. They have pretty much every airplane equipped in a different way. The reason I've chosen this particular aircraft today is because it will go to show how some old 737-900s actually look like, and you will have the immediate comparison with that on the live stream next Tuesday, where we will fly one of the most modern equipped Boeing 737-900 ERs. Now, for today though, this is our ride. And as said, we're currently standing in Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, and we're going to fly the plane over to London Heathrow and then back. So, then let's have a look into what we are about to fly. First of all, the cockpit itself, as we can see in the 900 standard, is pretty much the same as it is in the 800s. But now let's get to the more interesting stuff. First of all, let's have a look into the flight plan. We're doing only a quick 40-minute flight, and what we are going to notice is that this airplane uses a tad more fuel for that. So, of course, the flight model of the PMDG 737-900 has been carefully recreated, and you will notice some differences there, which I'm going to show you as we fly along. So, let's see what we're about to do. Amsterdam to London, and the planned fuel for this one is 4.5. Now, this is because our alternate is quite close, but notice how for just a 43-minute flight we use almost 2 tons of fuel, which is quite a bit. Also note the weight sections in the flight plan up here, mostly the maximum zero fuel weight at 67.7 tons, and the maximum landing weight at 71.4 with a max takeoff weight of 85.1. So those are increased quite a bit in the 900 compared to the 800. So for the flight today, we said we will need 4.6, make that 4.7. We want to take a little bit more just in case the fuel truck does an error when refueling and loads up a little bit too little. And that's it. So let's have a look into the seating configuration then. And this is what we have. Now, empty weight of the plane, 43.8, is a little bit more than the 800 due to the 2.8 meters more length. And this airplane is equipped with 12 first class seats and 153 economy seats. Now, on today's flight we are going to be fully booked, so we are going to load up all of those. And then, looking into the cargo, let's see what our sim toolkit has actually planned for us. Looking at the load sheet, up here we're looking at zero fuel weight of 60.3, so that means that we are going to take 2.3 tons of cargo with us. So let's split them a little bit. We'll take 1,000 in the front and 1,300 in the back. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because with the center of gravity a little bit further aft, we're going to burn a little bit less fuel. And you are going to notice that all these minor differences, while they are really minor, they are all modeled in the PMDG 737. Alright then, let's work our way through the FMC. The important things for you to check here, we have the 737-900 with blended winglets installed, so if we have a look outside, there are no split scimitars installed up here. And if we go back into the plane, then the operating program has changed as well. This is now 0.62, which is the reversion number of the current airplane. So that's a quick possibility for you to check which version you actually have installed. IRS is aligned already, so let's go right over to the route page. And we are gonna go from Amsterdam towards London Heathrow. We'll be the KLM 903. Kilo. Departure runway 24, and we are doing the Valco 3 Sierra departure. So, from there on, back into the OFP, we'll fly via Lima 980 towards Logan. And from there we are going to fly most likely the ILS 27 left, Logan to hotel arrival, and then finally the Lambourne transition. Okay, activate that, but we don't execute it quite yet. Okay, performance. Planned cost index 20. Reserve fuel 2.3. And the zero fuel weight is going to be 60.2. Now here's something interesting. On the next flight, we're going to fly an airplane that is configured in the higher seating capacities, and you are going to notice that the zero fuel weight is going to be quite a bit higher with that, which ultimately will mean higher landing weights and therefore a lot more fun on the approach. And this is something that you will really get to see on the 737-900 high approach speeds, because this just is a plane that wants to go really fast. The 737-800 is already flying quite fast, but in this one you can easily get approach speeds in the region of about 155 knots. And also have a look into the takeoff speeds. We have a takeoff weight here of 65 tons for just a very short flight. In the 737-800 we'd normally be something like 5 tons less. Now, nonetheless, we get takeoff speeds here, 144, 144 and 151. So that's definitely something that we are going to notice flying this airplane. The higher speeds. Apart from that, that's pretty much our FMC pre-flight complete. Let's quickly go through the rest of the airplane to see what else we are going to do. I'm just going to go through the configuration of the cockpit real quick here. I'm sure that you all are familiar with the way the 737 works. Okay, refueling is done. Belts can go on. What is important for you guys to notice here, when the plane is first going to come out, GSX will not be configured for it. Because, well, GSX, it always needs an airplane configuration and it otherwise might act up. So, for example, right now, the chocks are not seen by GSX and we have to set the park and brake and so on. But I'm sure that many of you will be quite familiar with it, and I surely hope that Umberto is going to update GSX in time shortly after the release, or maybe even before it. Anyways, we are now pretty much configured for our departure, so let's do a very quick departure briefing to show you guys what we're up to. This is going to be a left seat takeoff on runway 24 with a flaps 5, noise abatement procedure number 2 with a bucket at 1500. Taxi, fairly straightforward, but let me get you guys the Navigraph chart so that we can have a look into what we're about to actually do. So, import a flight, please. And here we go. Okay, so our parking position is up here at taxiway Alpha 9 Charlie, and then we're going to go via Alpha 8, Sierra 7 for runway 24 departure. We're going to do the Valco 3 Sierra departure, which we have up here. And that routing is simply going to take us from runway 24 via the Valco 3 Sierra, Alpha Mike 001, Alpha Mike 051, Alpha Mike 009 above 2500, and then on towards Valco and thereafter Idrit. Max speed 250 below level 100, that is all in. And then finally, initial climb clearance flight level 60, so we can insert a 60 restriction in the FMC as well. It's pretty much a straight out departure, so I'm not going to put any 220 knot restriction in there. And that's pretty much it. Okay then. So for the taxi, parking up here, Delta 29, pushback, Alpha, Alpha 8, and then we're at the holding point. Okay, let's start with the transit before start checklist. Gear pins. 1, 2, 3, removed. Oxygen, test 100%. Yaw damper, on. Nav transfer and display switches, normal and auto. Fuel. We have 4.7 on board, 4.6 required, 4 pumps on. Fast melt on, window heat on, air compressed, packs auto, bleeds on set, pressurization mode selector, auto, instruments, cross-checked, auto brakes, RTO, speed brake. Down intent, parking brake set, start from cutout switch is normal. Radius, radar and transponder set standby, rudder and aileron trims, 3 and 0, takeoff briefing, discussed, PA. We'll consider that complete, FMC, CDU set, M1 IS box. Let me just quickly start the APU in the meantime. They're on auto, and we have reduced 22k, speeds 44, 44, 51 set, step trim 5 units set, performance weight balance, sign send, phones off, EFB. Well, not installed quite yet, unfortunately, but we're gonna get there, I hope. Okay, doors to go. So that's our preparation complete. Let's just head out to the outside view one more time and have a look into something that we'll be careful about during our takeoff. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with the length of the airplane, and therefore we have the tail skid installed as standard on the 737-900s. Now, the tail skid you're going to notice on this plane is a little bit different from that on the 800, but nonetheless it works pretty much in the same way. The tail strike angle on rotation is just about 10 degrees pitch, so we've got to be very careful, especially when we're doing a takeoff with a low flap setting like flaps 1 or flaps 5. Now, most operators still seem to use flaps 5 for their takeoffs in the 737-900, but be careful when you're rotating the plane. You shouldn't exceed 2.5 degrees per second. Something else for you guys to notice, when we're just looking at the plane from the top over here, is that on most gates suited for medium type aircraft, you will notice the 900 goes almost to the red line at the end of the parking area. So be sure to park your airplane very carefully in order not to have the tailplane reach into the taxiway area and thereby expose yourself to the risk of a ground collision. Oh. Then let's go ahead and close up. GSX can also start getting themselves ready. Now, I seriously hope that they are going to come with the pushback tuck that has a tow bar attached and not with a lifting tuck, because GSX and airplanes without configurations don't go very well with one another. Let's just put it that way.
Hello, Captain. Vaada ready for pushback.
Okay, please confirm doors and hatches closed, ground equipment removed, and bypass pin is installed. In the meantime, we can finish up the checklist. So, windows and doors closed, and passengers seated before start checks complete. And before start checks below the line, air complex off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder out off, before start checklist complete. So, as we're waiting for GSX to finish up their pushback, let's get into a couple of the questions some of the people have asked there. I'll just start from the very bottom, but mostly with those aircraft that actually use the, or mostly with those questions that mostly apply to the 900. So, first of all, the Aviator, no EFB on the 737 still. Well, please refer to Robert Randazzo's update that he's just posted this morning on his forum, as he's going to, as he has explained the current progress on the EFB in there. Then, Talk Smith, did they get the IRS caution light fixed for this build? I haven't seen it anymore. Then, Pilot White, what application are you using for your flight plan view? That is SimToolkit Pro. Okay. Let's quickly check. We don't have ATC online. The area behind is clear. So parking brake is released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
Roger. Robin, how much is the 737-900 going to cost? Well, that's not been revealed yet. And what is GSX doing? Interesting. Very interesting. No further comment on that. Okay, let's go ahead and start engine number 2. Then Adrian is asking, does PMDG make the 737-900ER with a small door at the aft? They only make it in the version that I have shown in my first previews, so don't expect any surprises there. What you've seen is what you're going to get. Then going a little bit further up in the questions, Steon asked, can the 900 also be in a cargo version? No, there is no cargo version of the 900. To my knowledge, that is in real life as well. There is no cargo version available. I might be incorrect there. I might be incorrect. However, nonetheless, there is no cargo version included. The PMDG 737-900 package is going to come with the 900 and the 900ER. So, no cargo and no Boeing Business Jet 3. That's the plan as it is right now. Then Fire Kirby, is the 900ER a newer plane? Yes, it is. Boeing initially started with the 737-900 only as the 900, but it didn't really sell well because it had the same amount of exits as the 800, and therefore it was certified to carry the same amount of passengers only, which is 189. So for airlines there was no real advantage in the 900 over the 800 other than that they could offer increased legroom for the passengers, as I have just shown earlier in this video. So that means that Boeing eventually decided to build a new 737-900 with an extra emergency exit, which then turned out to be the 900ER. Okay, let's see, where is our dispatcher? She gone already? And there are a couple of people asking about the 737 MAX by PMDG. Now, they haven't not announced, well actually they have announced when they're going to start on it. And the sequence of aircraft to be developed now is, after the 900 is released, they're going to shift to the 777, thereafter the 747, and then the 737 MAX. Now that information is a little bit old, so chances are that we might only get, or that chances are they might still change something, but for now that is the latest information that was available. Okay, so before taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probe heat on, anti-ice off, air conditioning, PAX auto, bleeds on, isolation valve, auto, flaps, 5 required, 5 selected, and the green light. Step trim, 5 units set. Start levers, idle detent, flight controls, checked, recall, checked, before taxi checklist complete. Okay, let's go. Config check. So right now we are sitting in a pretty light 900. In the next live stream on Tuesday I'm going to feature a very heavy 900ER. And I want you guys to remember how this airplane taxis. Because you'll see that right now we only needed a bit of thrust to get it running to about 10 knots, which is the maximum we should use on the aprons. However, you will notice that when we are sitting in a heavily loaded 900ER, you will need quite a bit of thrust to get the thing moving. By the way, For those of you who read Robert Randazzo's post on the latest update or saw my video on it, you will notice that they have reworked a bit of the ground steering model as well. Previously it had some problems with very small inputs, but I'm trying to show this to you right now as we're taking a couple turns over here. And what you're going to notice is that now even the smallest inputs will be correctly executed. So let's do the next turn to the left hand side there, and then you guys are probably going to see. Okay, we are clear left, and here we go. See how smooth it can be taxied now? So those problems from the previous build have been fixed for this next update. Okay, let's go ahead with the before takeoff checklist down to the line. Config, check, flaps. 5, green light, step trim, 5 units set. Takeoff briefing. This is going to be a left seat takeoff on runway 24, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2 with a buck-up at 1500. We are going to use LNAV and VNAV for this departure. The SID is taking us initially with a left turn around a village that is quite noise sensitive down there, climbing to a flight level of 60. For the emergencies, we proceed straight ahead to 25 miles and climb 3000 feet. The highest MSA in the sector is going to be 2000 feet. Any questions on the briefing? No? Okay, perfect. Then that is the before takeoff checklist complete down to the line. So we're flying in VATSIM, so let's announce that we are going to take off. Careful traffic, KLM 903 kilo, line up and take off, runway 24. Okay, clear left, clear right, let's go. Before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP, set, transponder, TA array, strobe lights on, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. That was maybe a little bit too much braking, but here we go.
Triple traffic, Martinez 844 is holding short of runway 24 at Sierra 2.
Okay, timing. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. Still a little bit forward pressure on the control column.
80 knots.
Correct. Okay, and on the rotation we will then try to be very careful to achieve the correct rotation rate. And here we go.
Positive reincline.
You're up. Okay, nice.
Martinez 844 is crossing runway 24 at Sierra 2.
Monte. Let's have a quick look on the outside. It's still a little bit of a strange sight to see an airplane that long, but once you get used to it, it actually starts looking quite neat. Okay, flaps 1. Getting quite dark in here, temperature has fallen to 9 degrees, engine anti-ice on. And flaps up. So there is no ATC online, so let's climb to a cruising level of 240 straight away. And over in Heathrow we will then have a little bit of ATC as well. The temperature is plus 11 now, but I'm going to keep the anti-ice on. FMC says thermal anti-ice on above 10 degrees, but we're going to cancel that, because we are still climbing a bit higher, so chances are the temperatures will fall again. Okay, set standard. Passing 30, climbing level 240 after takeoff checklist. Okay, and we are clear the clouds, engine anti-ice off. After takeoff checklist. Air condition and pressurization 1.8, climbing. Set. What are the temperatures doing? 28. A bit warm maybe. Okay. And altimeters. Standard 2 times, passing 47, climbing 240. And let's release the cabin crew. And quickly get that standby to standard. This is going to take a little while. We have quite a high QNH right here in the Netherlands right now. And here we go. Okay, we're clear to climb above flight level 150. That means we can delete the climb D-rate. And note that when you fly a 737-900 and not the ER, you have 26K engines installed on your aircraft. So you have roughly a similar climb performance on this plane than you have in the 800. However, due to the higher weights, especially when you are close to the maximum takeoff weight, which is about 7 tons higher than that of the 737-800, you will suffer quite some degraded climb performance that will probably remind you more of flying an Airbus than flying a Boeing. Let's have another look at the outside really. It is quite noticeable indeed that we have quite a longer aircraft. This looks quite amazing, to be honest. I just love flying over the Dutch coast that low. Fortunately in real life I only get to see it from level 300 or so, but you guys get where this is going. Okay, passing 10,000, let's do the 10 tracks. Fuel is balanced and we have 4 pumps on, the lights are going off. APU off, air condition and pressurization 4.2, climbing and set, fasten belts. Well, this should stay smooth, so let's put them back into auto. Recall checked. Then monitoring 1 to 1.5. And that's it. What's also interesting in this particular airplane that we are flying right now is that it has a heading up display installed compared to the track up display that I think we have flown exclusively previously on this channel. So right now we're seeing the heading up here and the track line is to the left, which is quite strange for me, to be honest, because I'm really not used to that anymore. Then, let's see, a couple people are asking some more question. Especially the weather radar is brought up there. Now, let's quickly talk about the weather radar then. The reason we don't have a weather radar yet in the PMDG 737 is because the current API, so the current way how developers can get information only includes a top-down view like what you know from the App Store for your iPhone. But that is not how a weather radar in an airplane works, and indeed I did a video on the topic to tell why that stuff was quite useless indeed. So refer to that, and as soon as there is a proper API, you can be sure that PMDG is going to implement a weather radar. By the way, we've just gotten a contact lead from air traffic control, so let's give them a call real quick.
2752, Skyline 23 level.
Amsterdam radar, good afternoon, KLM 903 kilo, passing level 161, climbing 240 in.
KLM 903 kilo, squawk 2767, climb flight level 240.
Squawk 2767, climb flight level 240, KLM 906, correction 903 kilo.
Amsterdam radar,
2767, flight level 240, and that's set 1, 2, and 3 times. Actually, no, it's not, because the airplane changed it, as we have a level 250 restriction here. So let's get rid of that, and then we can set the correct cruising altitude as well. Here we go, that's better.
Mission Airway 6 Foxtrot Mike, hello, I will call you back in just 2 minutes.
6 Foxtrot Mike.
Amsterdam radar, Tomjet 23 Golf, flight level 350 release.
Tomjet 23 Golf, good day, then ready, descend flight level 230, to be leveled by...
Okay, so, someone's asking there, how do I get the background radio chatter? Well, that's not background radio chatter, that is flying online on VATSIM, so, that is real people talking there right now, and not some pre-recorded chatter. Then, Hyunyan Yap, what happens if the first officer calls 100 knots instead of 80 knots? Must the takeoff be rejected due to possibility of the FO not being alert enough? No, not at all. You look over to the other display. So let's say I'm Captain Pilot Flying, and the first officer calls 100 instead of 80. I look over there, I see he gets the correct indication, and I continue the takeoff. There's absolutely no reason to reject that.
2773 on the box, easy for 2 uniform kilo. Inbound Lekko. First Canamon 590, squawk 27.
Okay, so we're approaching the cleared level. Let's go to vertical speed mode. And here we go.
Wing 7642, hello.
So,
you need an odd level
in a few moments, when we reach our cruising level, we'll quickly have another look back into the cabin and into what the passengers can actually see outside.
Roger, sir. Answer squawk 2775.
Now, if we have another look into the 737-900, one thing that you are definitely going to notice is the better controllability of the plane on descents. I want to show you this on our descent into London Heathrow, and I'm pretty sure that air traffic control is going to give us quite some speed restrictions and so on, so we'll probably have to force the airplane into some situations that you probably wouldn't get into using VNAV only. Now, the 900 has quite a bit of extra drag, so you will notice that it is easier to slow it down than the 800. And the prime reason for that is, of course, that due to the airplane having the same wings as the 900, but as the 800, but having more weight, you have a higher angle of attack and thereby more drag. However, another reason is that the parasite drag is increased quite a bit as well because of the longer fuselage. So we have faulted wire, let's go back to VNAV.
6 Foxtrot Mike, correct, then ready, taxi Sierra 8, runway 24.
So overall, the 900 is easier to control on the descent and approach than the 800 is. The good side on that, however, is that the 737, if you are used to the 800 and you can fly the 800, then you can be very sure that you can also fly the 900, because it is the easier airplane to control. Okay, so reached our cruising level. We have about 65 miles to the top of descent. Let's go back to the cabin for a second and have a look at the passengers' views. So let's start over here in the second row. And what you'll notice is from here on, the wing is a little bit harder to see. If we go into row 1 even. 127.1, KLM 903 kilo, good day. Okay, just gonna go back to the flight deck for a second.
Contact Langen radar, 129.3, bye bye.
127.1.
I'll come back to you. Break, EV26 Delta Charlie, climb flight level 160.
Again, please for EV26 Delta.
EV26 Delta Charlie, climb flight level 160.
Just quickly gotta check in with London.
Steven 982 Zulu, your indicating altitude 6,400 feet. Confirm maintaining 6,000 on standard pressure.
Zoe, thank you so much for the $5 Australian donation. Really appreciate it. On control, good afternoon, KLM 903 Kilo, flight level 240 over at AFNet.
KLM 93 Kilo, Logan to hotel arrival Heathrow.
Logan to hotel arrival Heathrow, KLM 903 Kilo. Okay, let's check real quick, and we have Logan to hotel arrival. Okay, perfect. And we can start our approach preparation already, and we will do so by getting the Heathrow HOTAS. Now, I won't bother listening to the voice HOTAS with so much going on the frequency over here. So,
London 129.425.
and let's see, where is my V-pilot? Here it is. Oh, we have Heathrow information Kilo from 1220, arrival runway 27 right, departure 27 left. Pilots should expect a change to runway 27 left for landing at 1500 hours. Okay, so that's quite a bit after us. Transition level 65, wind 2808, visibility 10 or more, overcast 3300, temperature +9, dew point +6, QNH 1039. Pilots are reminded that readbacks are mandatory. Pilots are to exercise caution when maneuvering in the runway holding areas as wingtip clearance is not assured. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo and report aircraft typing QNH on first contact. Okay, sounds good. We can do that.
Lufthansa 906, turn left, heading 10
Oh.
degrees.
That means we quickly gotta change the runway.
Landing control,
27 right, Lambon transition, and Logan to hotel. Execute that. And quick look into the charts.
Aztec 017, report you're heading to Brussels 131.1.
Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Steven 982 Zulu, climb now.
So we're going to be landing on T7 right over in Heathrow. Then the taxi chart we need, and some kind of parking chart we need as well. Perfect.
EZ267, what's your requested level?
340.
So course is 269.
EZ267, climb flight level 340, with direct Ramsey.
Direct run to
269, frequency is 110.3. Going into both sides.
Lufthansa 906, turn left, heading 090 degrees.
And we can just tune London VORs back up there. Not that we really need it, but
Lufthansa 906,
cost us anything.
heading
Just
090
approach straight at
degrees.
1580 and then turn right, track 316, okay. Easy going. Minimums 278. Note that when we're talking about the minimums, if you are flying a 737-900, you're a category Delta aircraft. So while in the 67 and most of the 800s you had to take a Cat Charlie minimum, in the 900 it is definitely the Cat Delta minimum that you have to take. Now that is not applicable on this particular flight because there only is a single minima published for all approaches, but if you're looking in the approach charts and there is different minima published, then you have to take the category Delta airplane minima for the 737-900. The reason for that is that due to the increased weight of the plane, you have a higher final approach speed, and therefore the plane falls into the Delta category. Basically, in case you're interested, the categories are divided by approach speeds for the maximum landing weight. So it is not the approach speed of the plane as you currently fly it, but it is the approach speed of the plane as it is certified to operate. So, looking at the speeds over here, we somewhat get to see it. We will have a gross weight of approximately 63 tons on this landing, And with that, we already have
Bravo, hello, climb
a flap 30
150.
VREF of 148 and a flap 40 VREF of 138. Now, if we went to the max landing weight, which is 71.4 tons, if we just enter that for a second, then have a look at these speeds over here. The boundary between a Cat Charlie and Cat Delta aircraft is 141 knots at max landing weight and maximum flap setting. But as we can see, we are at 145 over here for flap 40 landing in the 900, so that is the reason why this is a Category Delta airplane. Now for our approach, let's go back to 62.9 tons, and we are going to do a flap 40 landing, and my reasoning for that is that I want to do a very quick turnaround and bring the plane back towards Amsterdam. Now, runway itself, we aim to vacate over here at Alpha 10 Echo, and looking into the speeds and the distances that you can expect for the different auto brake settings, for a flap 30 auto brake 3 landing, you're looking at approximately 1900 meters in the 900, and for auto brakes 2 you're looking at about 300 meters more. Now if we take flap 40, it's going to be approximately 100 meters landing run less than it would be in the flap 30 configuration. So that means that for our configuration, if we take flap 40 and auto brakes 3, we would need approximately 1800 meters, and if we have a quick look into the chart over here, the runway is 3,900 long, the exit is just about past the middle marker of the runway, so that means that we're looking at about 2,000 meters landing run. In other words, flaps 40, auto brake 3 looks quite good to me. Sorry, you get blocked all the time. Confirm KLM 93 kilo descend 160 level by Sabre when ready.
That's correct. Brake, Lufthansa 906, turn left.
Okay, set. 160 checked by Sabre, and you set when ready, so we just keep it in VNAV, and then it'll start the descent all by itself. Okay, so we're going to use flap 40, auto brakes 3, giving us a landing distance in the region of about 1800 meters, and we are going to use maximum reverse thrust in order to reduce the brake cooling time. And that's pretty much our entire plan for the arrival. Then let's do the descent checklist, please. Pressurization, land out 100, anti-ice off, approach briefing fuel discussed, IS and outbox. Let's pre-select that QNH, 1039er. Here we go. IS and outbox checked and set. Descent checklist complete.
KLM 1033, Logan to hotel arrival Heathrow.
Logan to hotel arrival Heathrow, KLM 133.
Lufthansa 906, descend flight level 140.
140,
fraction 1213, climb.
Oh boy, I come back from my little auto brake explanation and I see that people are fighting in chat. Guys, we are all friends, okay? No need to no need to fight one another. Okay, trying to go up the chat right now to find where that originated from, but can't really find it. Anyway, let's go over a couple of your questions once more. So, I'm going to prefer the 900 questions, of course. Aaron, face cam, I need it. No chance. Sorry, but I'm just not a fan of showing myself on the internet. You guys get to see the flying, and that's gonna be it.
Lufthansa 906, descend flight level 120. Ryanair 1 X-ray Echo, turn left, heading 075.
Mike Bravo, you didn't answer the question. Would you like to address your subscribers' concerns? To be honest, I didn't find the question within the amount of comments here.
I'm afraid you're outside my airspace.
LV Dagan, $5 donation. Thank you very much. I just want to thank you. Oh, I would just like to thank you for all your knowledge. I fly the PMDG 737 almost exclusively now because of you. Oh, thank you very much.
202, contact Stansted radar 120.625.
Okay, and we're leaving the cruise level. The plane reduced to its descent speed already, which is what the actual plane is also going to do if the descent speed is less than the cruising speed. Inspector T69, $5 Australian donation. Thank you so much for your awesome content.
We're direct Sabre, Cannon, 100.
Oh, thank you very much for that.
9820, climb flight level 370.
Then, ex-sim pilot, hi, just joined. Can you please do a quick outside tour? Yeah, we definitely can move outside for a bit. So, this is the 900, as it looks from the outside. It's 2.8 meters longer than the 737-800 is. And the 900 itself, other than being a little bit longer, looks quite close to the 800. The 900ER would have an additional emergency exit here in the back. Apart from that, we'll have a quick look into the cabin in a few moments once again. Oh, there was a question as well, how do I move around the cabin? And the answer to that is quite easy. I use the translate view functions from the flight simulator itself, so let's do that for a second. The door itself is unfortunately not operable quite yet, but that is going to be added by PMDG, so we just walk right through it. And this is what the cabin in the 900 looks like. So, in the configuration we have right now, we have 12 business class seats and 153 economy class seats installed on the aircraft. Primary difference we will see in the cabin of the 900 compared to the cabin of the 800 is the increased distance between the seats, so the increased leg room. Apart from that, the 900 itself is certified for the same amount of passengers as the 800 is, so 189. And only the 900ER is certified up to 220 passengers due to the additional emergency exit it has at the back of the cabin.
Thank you.
Okay, so right back into the cockpit.
KLM 93 kilo descend flight level 100.
KLM 93 kilo descent flight level 100.
Ryanair 87 Mike uniform flight heading 085.
Good. 100 checks.
Surgeon 45 whiskey descend flight level 150. Channel 23 Charlie descend flight level 180 level 80.
Then, random guy is asking, what's the range of the aircraft? Is it similar to the 800? Well, that actually depends a little bit. We'll start with the 737-900. The maximum range of the plane is a little bit less than the 800. You're looking at about 200 miles less, so something around 2,600-ish. But of course that is quite dependent on the weight and the weather conditions. Now, the more interesting aircraft in terms of range is the 737-900ER. And the reason it's more interesting is because you have options to fit 2 external tanks or 2 auxiliary tanks into the cargo hold. Now these can be custom selected on the 900ER and they will offer an additional range of about 200 miles per tank. But the maximum range of the 900ER therefore is in the region of approximately 3,200 miles.
London, hello, easy 75.
An ex-sim pilot, I talked about the EFB earlier in the stream, so kindly refer to that or to the video with the release date announcement that I posted earlier on.
When ready to send flight level 310, EC 75 kilo Delta.
Fraction 1213, climb flight level 410, route direct capture.
After 400,
And Anders Christensen, I just passed my first exam in ATPL yesterday. Well, congratulations, my friend.
Flight level 150, level likely.
Looks like I forgot to insert the transition level. By the way, in case you're wondering, I didn't put any wind forecast in, because it's just a tiny bit of headwind over here, and mostly because the majority of this descent here is regulated by a geometric path descent. If you're wondering what that is, basically we just overflew a waypoint that had a restriction at 16,000 feet. The next restriction we have is at Lamborn VOR at flight level 70. And since both of those were at restrictions, so at flight level 160, at flight level 70, the airplane now draws a straight line between those two vertical restrictions. And therefore, we basically now descend at a constant rate of descent to reach Lamborn at flight level 70. I can show you this real quick. You can see the range to altitude arc on the navigation display right now. Now have a look what happens if I turn that down to flight level 70. You see, it ends up directly at Lamborn VOR. And the reason for that is, as I explained, the airplane has now drawn a geometrical descent path. And I just couldn't be bothered to enter the descent forecast wind because on a geometrical descent path, they just don't make any difference. On this one, the wind is basically ignored on this particular type of descent, just like the deceleration segment, for example. So, around level 100, the airplane is not going to go into a 1 degree descent to reduce its speed like it normally would, but on a geometric descent path, we just have to use the speed brake to get the speed back. But you are going to see that in action in a few moments.
Beaver 281, climb flight level 80.
And Mauritania fan 113, just wondering, but will the 900 package go on sale after release? Not 100% sure what you mean there. KLM 93 kilo descent flight level 80.
KLM 1033.
Oh, set and 80 checked. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure what you mean there with will it go on sale after release. There's probably not going to be any sale in terms of price reduction after the release. The exact price has not been published yet, so we don't quite know yet how much it is actually going to be. But what we do know is, or what we can guess, is that it will be somewhere around, I guess somewhere between the 600 and the 700. But we'll see about it.
Flying flight level 140, super to 81.
Virgin 45 with GC 250 and ultra left. KLM 93 kilo, contact Heathrow 119725.
Okay, that's an interesting question there. KLM 93 kilo, say again?
KLM 93 kilo, contact Heathrow direct to 119.725.
119.725, KLM 93 kilo, see ya.
Bye bye now.
Okay, 119.725. Heathrow direct, good afternoon, KLM 903 kilo, descending flight level 80, information kilo 737-900, QNH 1039.
Standby brake, Lufthansa 906, turn left heading 090 degrees, speed 220 left.
Okay, and here we got it. On the geometric descent path that we're following right now, you can see the airplane does not take the deceleration segment into account, so we actually have to help it with a speed brake to lose that speed. Okay. There you go.
Hello, lead Lamborn heading 7 degrees, speed,
KLM 93 kilo, leave Lamborn heading 270 degrees, Okay. Then level change, 220, and heading 270 is pre-selected. So, looks like everybody is guessing for a $50 prize. Hope so, hope so.
Roger.
Hello, kilo now before aircraft flight.
Okay, past level 100, let's do the 10 tracks. fuel is balanced and we've got 4 pumps on, lights are going on. Angle of bank 25, air conditioner pressurization 4.0 descending set, fast mode on, recall checked 1 to 1.5, let's deselect that. And checks complete.
KLM 93 kilo, lead Lamborn heading 270 degrees.
KLM 93 kilo, lead Lamborn heading 270 degrees. Got that already, thank you. Okay, and we're just prior to Lamborn already, let's just go heading select. Make our lives easy.
River 650 Echo descent to
Vertical
altitude
speed,
3,000 feet per
1000.
3000 feet away, a little soon on.
Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the approach, so I will get back to answering your questions just after the landing, or just after we arrived at the gate, because Heathrow is quite a complex airport, so I'm going to maintain a sterile cockpit from here on. But do keep posting your questions, I am going to answer as many as possible once we're on the ground later on.
45 Whiskey 28 track mile from 27 right, descent to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1039er.
Okay, so the interesting question now, of course, is how many track miles are we going to get? Because if he turns us straight in, then, well, we are slow already. We could make it with the flaps out.
Descent flight level 70.
Descent flight level 70, KLM 93 kilo. How many track miles?
KLM 93 kilo track mile information for now is 35.
Gotcha. Okay, 35 miles, that means we've got time. Whenever a controller tells you track miles, always a good plan to look at the miles you have in the FMC, which is 33 right now.
Right heading 180 degrees, 180 and on full racer.
So that guy's probably in front of us there. Down here, this guy's probably in front.
Turn left heading 090.
Reselecting the tower frequency already, and things will be a little bit less workloads when we start the final approach.
KLM 1033.
So that guy's over there. I guess he'll probably turn us in behind him, so something like this.
Hello. 4 aircraft type information, Lima.
We are 7378 KLM 1033.
Center manager 6, turn right heading 240 degrees. When established on the localizer, runway 27 right, descend on the glide path.
Turn 270 on
KLM manager kilo 28 track mount, runway 27 right, descend to altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1039er.
KLM 93 kilo descent 4,000 feet, QNH 1039er. Okay, set 4,000 checked. Set altimeter 1039. And 28 track miles might be a little bit little, so let's get the speed brake out. So set altimeter 1039. Takes a while with this analog thing. Okay, parcel 7,400.
Left heading 110 degrees.
110 degrees, KLM 93 kilo.
180 and on full racer.
Okay, this guy is flying a little bit further out as well. Then I'm slowing the speed brakes again. But we will probably follow him onto the final.
KLM manager 33, lead Lamborn heading 270 degrees.
Engine anti-ice on.
Say again, KLM 1033.
KLM 1033, lead Lamborn heading 270 degrees.
Leave landborne, heading 27.
Beautiful airplane, isn't it? Not so beautiful clouds, unfortunately. So what's going to become interesting as we approach the final is going to be speed management. The flap 5 speed of the 737-900 is usually somewhere in the region of about 170 knots on typical landing weights. So that means that if ATC wants us to go 160, we actually have to take the gear down for that. It's something we need to take account of, and something we need to prepare for in case that happens.
LM 2 kilos, turn right heading 180 degrees, speed 180 knots.
LM 93 kilo, right heading 180 degrees, speed 180 knots, confirm.
LM 93 kilo, 8 turn, brake surgeon, 4 flight with speed.
Okay, level change.
Until 4 DME.
And let's start the speed reduction. Flaps 1. Retract.
Circle the glide path.
Okay, vertical speed minus 300. We want to maintain a continuous descent after all.
Flight level 70.
Flight level 70.
And flap 1 we have. Flaps 2. 183 is close enough to 180 without getting the additional drag, so let's fly it like this. So, first check please. Frequencies 110.3. Fixed rings, runway 27 right.
Kilo, turn right heading 240 degrees, establish on the localizer, runway 27 right.
LM 93 kilo right heading 240, establish localizer 27 right. Okay, heading 240 degrees. He did not give us clearance to descend with the glide yet, so we've got to maintain those 4,000 initially. So, continue with the frisk. Rings 10-4, idents. We have India Romeo Romeo and India Romeo Romeo. Standby instrument set, courses 269. 269.
When established on the localizer, runway 27 right, descend on the glide path.
LM 93 kilo descent 3000. When established on the localizer, descend on the glide. Okay, set. 3000 is checked. So, approach checklist please. Altimeters and instruments, cross checked, approach rates, checked and set. Approach checklist complete. And then approach mode is armed. Flaps 5. Localizer alive. Let's help it a little bit with the speed. And we have localizer capture, glide slope capture. I'm heading 169, 3,000 feet, missed approach set. LM 93 kilo established.
LM 93 kilo, speed 160 knots until 4 DME.
160 until 40 ME, KLM 93 kilo. Okay, that's what I meant, so gear down, flaps 15, because as you can see, our flap 5 speed is 169. 118.5 KLM 93 kilos here. Heathrow Tower, hello, KLM 93 kilo, ILS 27 right, 160 knots.
KLM 93 kilo, Heathrow, hello, continue for 27 right.
Continue.
Shuttle 14165, November Bravo 3, that up.
Line up 27 left. Shuttle 14165.
Okay, so here we've got it again.
Juliet, contact runway control 134.
Speed is very well controllable, as you can see. And thereby flying the 900 is actually easier than flying the 800 is. Okay, landing checklist down to the flaps. Start switches, continuous, recall, check, speed brake, on for night, landing gear down for green, auto brake 3 set, and then we're holding at flaps.
First right, hold November Bravo 3.
First line, hold on the one for Bravo screen,
Autopilot disconnect.
Whiskey 27 right to land within 27 degrees 9. Line 06, keep it rolling left Alpha, Lima, hold Lima 1. Shuttle 141627 left, clear to take off, 27 degrees 9.
Quick takeoff to 7 left. The bird 1, exception shuttle 141. Just be clear.
Shuttle Digital taxi, right Alpha, hold London.
Oh, not a problem.
Okay, flaps 30, set veer of +5. And complete the landing checklist.
Then I'm like, I'll think through hello, sir.
Flaps 40.
Constant 3 Golf Squawk 6460.
So we have flaps 40, 40,
Then am I comfortable, correct?
green lights, holding at the landing lights.
Shuttle 47, thanks. After the company A321 passes left to right behind 7520, this is approved, thank you.
After company,
decimal 1 shot 1416, goodbye.
Good afternoon, Uber 484-718, aircraft status 310, information Lima.
So, is that guy vacating now or not?
This will come by great KLM 93 kilo, go around us again, go around the hunch.
Approaching minimum.
Swing around KLM 93 kilo. Okay, go around, flap 15, set go around thrust. Hold the freight, gear up,
Too low. Gear.
disregard that.
KLM 93 kilo, turn right to 035.
Right 035, KLM 90 kilo. Okay, F5. Flaps 1. And flaps up.
Break, KLM 93 kilo, climb altitude 3000, please.
Final 3000, KLM 93 kilo.
KLM 93 kilo, thanks for contact, Heathrow Director 119.7, please.
119 at 725, KLM 93 kilo.
Version 4 for Whiskey C.
Okay, let's stabilize that airplane first.
Vision 4 for Whiskey Rush 6 is right Alpha, Charlie 755.
Command A, auto throttle on. Let's call the director again. Either director, hello, KLM 93 kilo, missed approach.
Director, hello, turn right heading 09 and 0 degrees.
Right turn now, 0 degrees, KLM 93 kilo. Okay, off the takeoff checklist. Air condition and pressurization, 1.6, climbing and set. Altimeters, 1039 and maintaining 3000. After takeoff checks complete. Okay, let's quickly set up for our second approach. Using reserve fuel, that is copied, but Heathrow has 2 landing runways. Weather is good, we're going to commit to landing here. Second try, flaps 40, So let's quickly talk about what happened. Previous guy didn't vacate the runway, therefore we had to go around. So, is there anything that would prevent doing a second approach? I don't think so. So we go for the second approach. Okay, descent checklist. Pressurization, land out 100, any ice? Well, we can take it off. Engine NTS off.
Traffic. Traffic.
That's that guy. Off scale. Can't see him. Okay, then it won't matter. Okay, approach briefing fuel discussed, ISR box checked and set, descent checklist complete. Then let's do a frisk check. Frequencies 110.3 set 3 times, fixed range runway 27 right 10-4, items. We have India Romeo Romeo and India Romeo Romeo, standby instruments set, courses 269. Approach checklist. Altimeters and instruments, second thrust checked, approach rates, checked and set, approach checklist complete. Okay, so we can basically expect the base turn any moment. Let's start bringing down the airspeed. I find it really impressive how big London is, especially when you see it from so close up. Okay, I should be focusing on flying my airplane.
Kilo, turn right, heading
Ups 1.
180 degrees.
Right heading 180 degrees, KLM now 3 kilo. Okay, now of course we go right over downtown London at an altitude of 3,000 feet. That's gonna be lovely. Certainly the view is great.
Kilo, turn right, heading 240 degrees. 17 to localize turn from extended right, and on the right path.
KLM 3 kilo right, heading 240 when established on the localizer descent on the glide path. That is an amazing view, isn't it? Let's see that from the outside as well.
Charlie 450 Eastern director. Hello, Constance, fly now within the 4 aircraft type.
We are an experimental American project dark
Roger. Descend flight level.
Interesting, a Dark Star on VATSIM. The thing is prohibited to be used on the network by the Code of Conduct.
Grab throttle at both speeds.
Aircraft Charlie 4530, maintain flight level 70.
Okay, flaps 5. And it looks like we'll have to intercept the glide slope from above there. Because the vector is a little bit too tight. So over here is 2500 if I'm not mistaken. Yep, this is 2500, so we'll have to intercept from above. But, as I told you, in the 900, it's not that difficult. Okay, auto throttle, time to bring some thrust in. Please. The real one does sometimes undershoot, but not that significantly. 10 knots is a little bit too much. Now, of course, you add a little bit of turbulence and you get pretty close to the stick shaker. Okay, localizer capture, glide slope capture. KLM 93 kilo established.
KLM 93 kilo, contact you for town now, 118.5, right?
Common Decimal 5, KLM 93 kilo, bye. Heathrow Tower, KLM 93 kilo, second round, 27 right.
3 kilo Heathrow, hello, 27 right, clear to land, 270 degrees, 9.
27 right, clear to land, KLM 93 kilo. Okay, that is much more to my liking. So once again, we notice in the 900 the Club 5 speed is more like 170 knots than 160 knots like it usually is in the 800s. But nonetheless, we can fly the low drag approach with this one as well, so at 4 miles we're going to start configuring the airplane. Looks like they got a couple of showers coming in over there, which certainly looks quite nice here in the Max Flight Simulator. Let's go ahead and turn the engine NTIs on. Temperature is below 10 down in Heathrow, so we'll just take it carefully from here.
Shuttle 238, contact London, control 127, decimal 1.
The control 127, decimal 1. You guys will still later.
Okay, gear down, flaps 15. Landing checklist down to flaps. Start switches, continuous, recall, checked, speed brake, arm green light, landing gear down 3 green, auto brake, reset, flaps 25. And flaps 40.
People fighting through, hello, so you got more. Brooklyn Park 7 Golf, squawk 5662.
1,000.
Checked. So flaps 40, 40, green light, landing lights on, landing checklist complete. And of course the showers are moving exactly to the runway as we land. That stuff always has to happen. Anyway, disconnecting automatics, let's go manual.
Hello, sir. To Schiphol, Brooklyn Park 7 Golf, squawk 3204.
500.
500, continue.
507 Golf, departure 432047.
43. Fever, Explorer, Crystal, Cushion Star, Stone 218. 484, Sun 218, push set approved, space.
Approaching minimums.
Correct.
Shuttle 487, first right hold, November Bravo 3.
Minimums.
Continue.
First right hold, November Bravo 3, shuttle. Just give it 8 Delta Charlie,
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
8 Delta Charlie, 216, push set approved, space now.
Speed brake up, thrust wheel is normal. 80%. 100 knots. 80 knots. Manual brakes. Water brake disarm, 60 knots.
Shuttle 487 from November Bravo 327 as clear takeoff, wind 270 degrees 9. November Bravo 3.
Okay, welcome to London Heathrow Airport.
Set 42 extra behind the departing company A318 from November Bravo 3 line up 27 Alpha.
So let's prepare those Navigraph charts. Pretty sure we are going to need them.
Yes, depart 50 extra.
Set 428 Heathrow, hello, back.
Actually, we keep those on for the NTIs.
Set 428 Heathrow, happy to shortlist number. Gentlemen, 3 kilo back up to Heathrow, second right onto Bravo and Echo, correction. Yeah, Echo, hold Echo 1.
Second right, Bravo, Echo, hold Echo 1. KLM 93 kilo.
Bearings 178 and 241.
Okay, Bravo, Echo, hold Echo 1. So, as we can see on the chart, that means go to the right on Bravo over here, then Echo, and we hold at Echo 1, that is down here.
Schiphol, Brooklands Park 7 Golf, 4473.
Man, this is becoming quite some British weather here.
Did 40
And Village 43, Mary for push 7.
Did 438, stand 505, push start approved, base speed.
Push start approved, base speed.
7487, contact London Control 129.425.
Okay, passing that pier over here, so next left should probably be Foxtrot, and thereafter then Echo. So we are just about up here right now.
31 Heathrow, hello to Hong Kong, Detling, 2 Golf, 7537.
Clear left. So taxi model again, saw quite a bit of improvement in the 900 over the previous update, so now even small inputs can be made, so look at how smooth I can actually now make that turn over here.
Tango Papa Charlie 4500, Heathrow, hello, 27 right to clear to land, wind 270 degrees, 9.
Feels pretty nice to taxi this.
Good 42 X-ray 27 left clear to 4.
On the return flight then,
270 degrees.
hoping that we have the time to make it, because I need to go to work at 1500 Zulu.
Excellent.
But on the return flight then, we are going to load the airplane all the way up to the maximum zero fuel weight to give you guys a sense of what a 737-900 can really feel like. That is, of course, going to mean quite a bit of cargo in the hold, because the 900, as said, doesn't have that many seats, but you guys will see what I'm talking about in a few moments. So we're on Echo right now, going all the way down to Echo 1.
For taxi, left Bravo, hold Locky.
Bravo, hold Locky,
KLM 93 kilo, approaching Echo 1.
Cadillac, Kilo, thanks, left Bravo, stand 305 left.
Left Bravo, 305 left, KLM 93 kilo.
Good 40 X-ray, contact London.
Okay, so left Bravo, that is not here yet, but the next one, up there we can see Bravo. Then let's have a look into the stand. On 305 left is just over here. Okay, so we'll take it over here, Pier 6.
The company is about to booth, the push and start is approved, face to face.
Perfect, then we know where we are going. And we are clear on the right, clear on the left. Let's see if GSX knows that stand. I kinda doubt it, to be honest, but... yeah, no. Not even gonna click myself through 300 stands right now. We are just gonna park ourselves. Okay, so we pass a beam this one. We are just about here.
24500, welcome to
And then on the
Heathrow,
next
taxi
pier, it's going to be the second stand
left
to the left-hand
Bravo,
side.
to stand 209.
Okay, start APU. And shut down engine number 2. Single engine taxi is possible if your weight is below 63 tons. Now, on the 900, that is a real concern. On the 800, you were most of the times below that. But on the 900, you really need to be careful there that you have your weight below 63 in order to do single engine taxi. Okay, so there should be 307 over here. Then the next is going to be 305 left. Why is there no markings drawn on here? Here we go, that must be it.
Heathrow Tower, Skyways 143, good afternoon, Boeing 737-800, stand 246, information Lima, QNH 1039, request clearance to Glasgow.
Okay, so this is going to be walk boarding.
Clear Glasgow, umlaut 1 Golf 3.
No marshal, unfortunately, but that means we have to park ourselves. It's a 900, so we got a taxi quite far up front, so that the tail is actually clear of the taxiway. Okay, that should be good. So, park and brake set, and we put the generators on 2 blue, 1 red, engines dead.
The sky was 143, yeah. Sorry, Rebecca's correct.
Tower, Euro 178, requesting 50.
Okay, thank you very much, Heathrow ATC. Just gonna leave your frequency for now. So, let's do the transit shutdown checklist. Electrical, it's on the APU. Fasten belts off. Propede auto, any eyes? Off. Voice recorder on. Air complex auto. Engine bleeds on. APU bleed off. Exterior lights set. Start switches off. Auto brake off. Speed brake down to 10. Flaps up. No light. Park and brake set. Start levers cut off. Weather radar off. Transponder 2000 and standby. CB/RCB in. Cockpit door unlocked. Shutdown checklist complete. Alright, let's go right into the turnaround. We've got an hour and 25 to do this, otherwise I need to go to work. So we are gonna hurry a little bit on this one. So this is gonna be done using stairs only, and we need the entire ground equipment. That's gonna take a little while. Ground power is available. APU can go off. Okay, so welcome to London Heathrow, everybody. Now, HK Flight Simulations is asking, no GSX? Nope, because we are parking on stand 305 left, and GSX only knows 305 center. So that's the reason why we are not going to use GSX, because it just doesn't know the stand. Gonna make pushback a little bit more interesting, but that is what all the challenge is about, isn't it? Okay, so then let's have a look into a couple more of the questions you guys have asked, and let's see, especially about the 737, if we can find anything there, but also about anything else, PMDG. Well, and one thing, Anders Christensen, any tips for the air law exams? Yeah, just learn that entire thing by heart, honestly. There is no other way to pass the air law exams. Just learn the entire thing by heart, and that's gonna be it. Then, Luxury VA is asking, after the third landing attempt, you need to divert to your alternate, right? That is actually not entirely right, and the reason for that is because you have to have a reason to believe that the next landing attempt is going to work, and as long as you have that, you can continue the approach. But if you don't have that, for whatever reason, for example because of bad weather, then you need to divert, but only then. So I hope that kind of makes sense to you. And normally it would be the second approach. So if you have bad weather and you need to go around twice due to the weather, then you need to divert after the second approach already. And Zoe Day, auto-igniters, how do they work? Well, basically they provide ignition whenever needed. Now, the AFCOM is going to be a little bit more complete on that, so my apologies for not going into too much detail on that one. Stephen Abbey, are you planning on doing the Cross the Land event? To be honest, I believe I'm working on that day, so I'm probably flying the real plane. Unfortunately. Well, unfortunately you name it, huh? But you know where I'm going with this. Now that's a good question, Christoph. Certified Boeing simulator or PMDG 737? What is easier to manage? Well, to be honest, I'd go for the certified Boeing simulator because you're normally sitting there with a second pilot. So, I know that's cheating, but you know, I would always go for the real life thing. That will always be easier to flight simulator. Of course, that is just because of those lovely limitations that we are under in-flight simming. You know, using flight simulation hardware and so on. Ben, Tyranny Andrews, that's an interesting question there. Do your colleagues at work also use the flight simulator, and do you chat about that? A couple do it. A couple even know my channel and have asked me about the YouTube channel, but, you know, we talk about it with some people. Reactions are totally different, by the way. So, one guy is like, what on earth, why are people doing this on their home simulators? Why don't they do something proper with their time? And others are like, wow, that sounds interesting. So, there's all kind of reactions from a real-life pilot over flight simming. By the way, quick look into the landing. Looking at Sim Toolkit Pro, landed on 27 right, touchdown, almost on the center line, right behind the aiming point, 130 feet a minute, so overall a very good landing. Okay, talking about very good landings, let's go ahead then and grab our next flight plan so that we can continue for the next sector. And there is an interesting question from MD Hall. Will PMDG build a shared cockpit option? To be honest, I don't think so. Unfortunately, I would absolutely love to see that, but I just don't think so. I just don't think that that's going to happen. Unfortunately. But we have to live with that for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a little bit of a pre-flight there. Weather in Amsterdam is good, we know that from before, and the fuel required. Now look at that, I've loaded the plane up to the maximum zero fuel weight now, 67.7. And that gives us a takeoff weight of 72.2 tons. Now just yesterday I flew a flight to Tenerife, and we had a takeoff weight of 70.5 tons in the 800, and we were absolutely full with passengers. So just look at that difference in the 900 as we're doing such a short flight now, and we take that much more fuel. Okay, so let's see, for the payload we want a full complement of passengers. Now we've got to add quite a bit of cargo. Now this is of course a very high amount of cargo, and I would never expect to carry that much weight. By the way, why is this giving me a max zero fuel weight that is a bit less? Oh, of course, because I'm sitting in... Well, that doesn't seem right to me. So max zero fuel 63.6? That does not seem right to me. Okay, might have found something over here. Anyway, for now, we're just gonna do it like this, with the maximum value PMDG provides, and this is going to give us a takeoff weight that's going to be somewhere in the region 69 tons or so, but you are going to see what I was talking about previously anyway. And in the meantime, I'm going to talk about that with the developers for the release. So, 6-6 Quebec it is on the way back, 2-7 left, Brookmans Park. And for the arrival, probably going to be 1-8 right, with the Redfall 1 Alpha and the Sugal 5 Bravo transition. Activate that. Performance. Cost index 20. Reserve fuel 2. Oop, wrong button. Reserve fuel 2.1. Zero fuel weight, we are just going to take it from here. And flight level 230 is the planned level. Transition altitude 6001. Cruise wind 303 at 27. And ISA deviation -1, -31 degrees. Just gonna execute everything here, because I am going to skip over the briefings, because I'm running a little bit tight on time right now, as I have to do a real-life flight later on today. But, nonetheless, I want to show you this. So, on this takeoff, let's do a 24K takeoff, 35 degrees of flex temperature. And we are gonna do flaps 1, and with the CG and everything, we wait until the refueling is complete. So we're not gonna enter anything of that quite yet. Then, HK flight simulations. What is data link voice? Is that a future feature? In fact, it's not. Data link voice on here shows because I do not have the data frequency selected on RTP3 at the moment. That's why we get the data link voice, because the airplane is right now not connected to the data link system. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the overhead panel. Not a lot to do actually. Okay, that's the pre-flight procedure complete. That's how quickly you can turn around to 737. Now let me quickly deselect those ILSs because we won't need them. And as soon as the refueling is complete, which is now, takeoff page, let's take that CG, let's take those speeds, we'll calculate with a wet runway. Accept, accept, accept. Now look at those takeoff speeds. We're talking about a 45-minute flight over here, and we get takeoff speeds in the region of 155 knots. And here we go. So, luckily we have a very good ground service team, so they actually completed the entire pre-flight procedure down there already, so that we can head right over to our next sector. Let's go ahead and call for ATC clearance.
Should ahead hold and then the Bravo 3 Skyway 143. Super 2610, continue all the way around on Bravo, hold at Nevis.
All the way around on Bravo, and take a holding point for the speedbird 2610.
2610 is to hold at Nevis.
Roger, hold at Nevis, speedbird 2610.
Heathrow Tower Low, KLM 66 Quebec 737 900 information kilo request clearance to Amsterdam.
KLM 66 Kilo Heathrow, hello, Roger, standby number 2 for clearance.
Oh no, stand by. Please don't use up too much time.
And Tower Speedbird 352, stand 509, request push.
So 352, stand 509, push and got approved, facing stand.
Okay, so let's start up the APU and prepare the airplane for departure.
Charlie, contact London Control 129.425.
The fuel truck can go, the stars can go.
Hello, 27 right, clear land wind 270 degrees at 9. Sharp 152, roger.
Okay then, let's do the transit before start checklist all the way down to the line. So,
right,
gear pins, 1, 2, 3 removed. Oxygen, just 100%. Yaw damper on. Fuel, 4.7 required, 4.8 on board, 4 pumps on. Fast melts, on. Window heat on. Air compress, pack auto bleeds on set. Pressurization mode selector. Auto, instruments, cross check, auto brakes, RTO. Speed brake. Down to 10, park and brake. Set, step and cutter switches, normal. Radius, radar and transponder, set and standby. Rudder and aileron trims, 3 and 0. Take-up briefing, discussed, PA, complete, FMC and CDU. Set, M1 IS box. We have automatic, reduced 24K, speeds 38, 47, 55. Set, step trim, 5 units. Set, performance, weight and balance, sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight windows and cockpit door. Locked doors, closed, passengers seated. Before start checklist complete down to the line.
Push that approved and start behind you.
3127 left clear takeoff, wind 270 degrees at 9. Scalars 143 behind the departing 787 900 via November Bravo 3, down up 27 left behind.
Okay, so now we are only waiting for ATC to give us our clearance. Let's see real quick if we can get GSX to push us back over here, but I don't think so. No, we can't. Fine as well. So, all we're waiting now is ATC. Oh, they have a ground. 1217. Perfect. Let's try to be first. Heathrow ground, hello, KLM 66 Quebec, 737-900 information kilo, request clearance to Amsterdam. And of course they don't answer. Come on ground, you can do it.
Sorry, apologies. A couple of stations there are physically.
That's KLM 66 Quebec information kilo clearance to Schiphol.
KLM 66 Quebec, Quito ground, good afternoon. Report to your aircraft type and stand number.
A 737-900 on 305 left, KLM 66 Quebec.
KLM 66 Quebec, Roger, cleared Amsterdam, Brookmans Park, 7 Golf for departure, squawk 7662. Information, Mike, current QH1039.
KLM 66 Quebec, clear to Amsterdam, Brookmans Park 7 Golf, departure on QNH 1039 and the squawk 7662. We're ready for push and start.
KLM 66 Quebec, read back is correct. And just when you were squawking, I'll give you push and start.
When you're squawking, I give you push and start.
KLM 66 Quebec, read back correct. Just squawk and I can give you correct clear.
Squawk is in, KLM 66 Quebec.
KLM 66 Quebec, Roger, stand 305 left, push and start approved, face east.
305 left, push start approved, face east, KLM 66 Quebec. Okay, squawk 7662. We have 6,000 feet and we have the Brookmans Park 7 Golf. So, let's use the PMDG pushback function then today. Standard L pushback, nose to the right, 90 degrees, and that's gonna be it.
Report to your stand number and aircraft type.
Go ahead. Aircraft type is a Boeing 747.
So, before start checks below the line, air compacts off, anti-collision on, park and brake set, transponder rolled off, before start checks complete.
Ready for pushback, tail to the left. Release brake, please.
245,
Brake released.
Speedbird 175, Roger, number 1 for clearance standby. Brake, Scandinavian 245 taxi, straight ahead Lima, hold Lima 1. Lima 1, Scandinavian. And ground Speedbird 352, request taxi.
Okay, we start the pushback. Let's see how good the pushback is that I programmed then, because I don't really use the PMDG pushback a lot, so I had to apply a little bit of guesswork over here as to nose left, nose right, nose you name it. But I'm sure we're gonna get there.
Brunei 0907, squawk 337.
Okay, we are beyond the whole throttle line. Let's start the engines. Starting number 2. So how's that pushback going? Is he going to start turning our airplane anytime soon? Yeah.
Speedbird 19 November, Heathrow ground clear.
That actually doesn't look too bad.
Break, Speedbird 175 over clearance and ready.
We are ready and we
Hey,
are
number
at
2.
236, Speedbird 105 ready.
Let's see how that goes. Okay, a little bit inside of the taxi line, but that is quite good enough for me.
Departure, routing to Golfsea and the November 621 Airway, Southampton, then at 5. Walk 0513, information Mike, QNH 1039er.
38K, we have a Golf 22 Golf departure, then Golf, then November 624, then at 5, Golf 0513, information Mike, QNH.
Okay, good start on 2, starting 1.
Speedbird 175 heavy, almost correct. This is the Golfsea 1 Golf departure, correction, Golfsea 2. Correction, Golfsea 2 Golf departure, then the Golfsea, so the November 621.
Okay, that's the pushback complete. So, not a perfect pushback onto the center line, but I would say for basically never using the PMDG internal pushback system, that was quite okay.
Speedbird 175 heavy, read back correct. Break, Scandinavian 245, contact Heathrow Tower, frequency 118.5. Good afternoon. 118 faster.
Airborne 73, we'll move back.
Airborne 7381, roger taxi, first right, Bravo, hold Nevis.
First right, Bravo, hold Nevis, Airborne 73,
And we have a starter cutout, monitor 1, 1 stable.
3909 and 7 fan 242, push and start approved, face south.
So it stopped raining, but it's probably still wet, so let's turn that anti-ice on.
Speedbird 19 November, ISO clearance and ready.
Flight control track. Full up, full down, full left, full right, neutral, rudders, left, right, neutral, before taxi checks. Generators on, APU off, start just continues, propy on, anti-ice on, air conditioning, packs auto, bleeds on, isolation mode, auto, flaps. That's 5 required, fast selected, green light, step trim, 5 units, required and set. Start levers idly turned, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist complete. Oh, let's get GSX, no, not GSX, Avigraph charts.
Heathrow ground, Ryanair 2388, Amsterdam, Auto 7 right,
Oh, this is what we'll probably need.
Station calling before the Ryanair proficient stop, of course that in. Lufthansa 2101, don't see you on the ground at Heathrow, confirm on the ground at Heathrow. It'll be Gatwick ground event of contact, and that's frequency 121.8.
LM 66 Quebec, request taxi. We gonna get something?
KLM 66 Quebec, roger taxi
Yes.
via Bravo, hold Lockheed.
Taxi Bravo, hold Lockheed, KLM 66 Quebec. Okay, so all the way forward to Bravo, and then hold short of Lockheed. We can do that.
Ground, good afternoon, Condor 447, A320 Neo, stand 542 with information.
Brakes
Mike,
off, config check.
Clearance to Frankfurt.
And off we go.
Condor
Clear left and right, let's get the plane back onto the center line,
3 center.
and then we can go. So we taxi all the way forward to Lockheed, and Lockheed basically is a beam the terminal to Bravo that we can see over here.
Right at 2388, you calling for push and start?
Affirm.
Runway 238,
2 Bravo.
507, push and start,
There.
space time.
But let's see, there should be a sign somewhere saying Locky as well. So that is where we're gonna go now. Okay, we can go a bit faster.
One good day, Lufthansa 3 at stand 244, 8220 Neo, QNH 1039, with information Michael, present from the air 15 to stand for.
Lufthansa 23, Heathrow ground, good afternoon, number 4, okay. That's fine.
Okay, let's see where we are. This is Terminal 2A, and this is Terminal 2B then, so behind the Qatar over there. Or rather, being
contact
that.
Heathrow Tower, frequency 118.5, good afternoon.
118.5, KLM 66 Quebec, good afternoon, thank you. Heathrow Tower, good afternoon, KLM 66 Quebec again, taxiing Locky.
KLM 66 Quebec, Heathrow, hello, overwatch.
Okay, you didn't say anything further, so we hold at Locky, which should be in front of Lima over here. You can see Lima on there, so we hold in front of that.
3907 Monster Heathrow, right on Alpha, ground 121 decimal, sir.
I'm just going to keep that taxi chart open because chances are we'll need it.
Quebec, second right, hold November Bravo 2.
Second right, hold November Bravo 2 Whiskey, KLM 66 Quebec. Okay, so, as he said, second right, that's easy, then we don't need the charts anymore. And we are clear on the left, we're in front of that 787 over there.
So sticker 352 approaching Leopard.
352 Heathrow, hello, first right, hold November Bravo 3.
First right,
Okay, clear of the clear of the 787, then next to the right
245, contact London,
will be November Whiskey 3.
What's the 7?
Okay, before takeoff checklist to the line. Config, check, flaps, 5, green light, step trim, 5 units, set, takeoff briefing, left C takeoff 27 left, flaps 5, noise abatement 2, bucket 1500, takeoff speeds 138, 147, 155. Sit straight ahead, right turn out, we're going to do all of that in LNAV and VNAV, and in case of an emergency we are going to proceed straight ahead, climbing to 3000 feet. So, that's the before takeoff checks complete to the line. Gonna hold the airplane over here. Not sure why there is such a... Not sure why the taxiway is falling down so much over here, but I'm not going to taxi into that. KLM 66 Quebec, runway 27 left, clear for takeoff. Okay. Then this is gonna hurt going down here, but I want to see that from the outside. I want to see if it's sufficient to make us get a fuselage strike down here. Let's see. Sufficient space available. Maybe a tail strike? Not really. Too bad. You can always hope for it. Before takeoff checklist below the line, MCP, set, transponder, TA array, strobe lights on, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. Timing. Stabilized. Set takeoff thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal.
Victory Fox behind, departing to KLM 737, November Bravo 3, down at 27 left bus.
You're up.
352.
LNAV, VNAV. Okay, autopilot on. Let's see what the thing can do for us. Come on, Day.
KLM 66, Quebec, contact London Control 127.1.
127.1, KLM 66, Quebec, see ya. Okay, flaps 1. Check. And flaps up. Speed check, flaps up. On control, good evening, KLM 66 Quebec 2300, Brooklands Park 7 Golf departure.
310.
When ready to send 210,
Ryanair for Quebec, Quebec, turn right, heading 225, clear ILS approach, runway 25.
225, clear ILS approach, runway 25, round air for Quebec, Quebec.
Boeing 327, you're indicating flight level 153, just check you have standard pressure.
Flaps up, no lights. We remain on QNH for now.
Easy 45 Romeo Alpha.
Nobody remains at radio discipline, very nice.
1 November arrival to Luton, report your level.
A vertical speed.
1 November arrival for Luton, and we are currently flight level 240.
Thank you.
London control, hello, KLM 66 Quebec, 4,200, climbing 6,000, Brooklands Park 7 Golf.
KLM 66 Quebec, hello, climb now, flight level 150.
I'm now flight level 150, KLM 66 Quebec.
Fly bus 2148.
That 150 checked. VNAV, and he said climb now, so we can delete all those restrictions. Okay, so set standard. Passing 45, climb 150 after takeoff checklist. Air condition and pressurization, 2.6 climbing and set.
On the go throw around there for Quebec, Quebec.
Altimeters, standard passing 52, climb 150. After takeoff checks complete.
Continue approach runway 25.
Okay, release the cabin crew.
Runway 25, Quebec, Quebec.
Easy 13 Alpha November, are you able from the intersection Alpha 1? Easy 13 Alpha November back.
Okay, 12 degrees now, engine ATIs off.
9 knots, clear for takeoff. Flyby 2148.
And that standby altimeter can go to standard as well.
Route direct Papa Alpha Mike, flight bus 2148.
And I'm strolling, and I'm strolling, and I'm strolling. Oh boy.
Lufthansa 25 November, hello, it's the Logan 2 hotel arrival.
Here we go. So, we've made it! The more I look at the 900, the more I get to like the length of it. I can tell you one thing. If you've flown the 900 for a little while, and then all of a sudden you fly a 600, you'll be standing in front of that airplane, and you'll be like, what the hell is this? And the same the other way around. KLM 66 Quebec, direct Radfa.
Attraction 10 Papa, hold position, now to departure runway 19, stand noise,
Execute. LNAV available, LNAV. And we're passing 105, climbing 150, 10 checks. Fuel is balanced with 4 pumps on, the lights are going off. APU off, air condition and pressurization 4.6. Set, fasten belts. That looks smooth to me. Fasten belts auto, recall checked, 1 to 1.5, monitoring. 10 checks complete.
Eurowing 147, route direct Mango.
So, Captain Steve, thank you very much for the £2 donation.
Switzerland, runway 25, round for Quebec, Quebec.
Easy 13 Alpha November, climb now, flight level 70. 3963, redirecting Nancy.
Redirect main.
Then, Dave Hicks, what do I typically fly?
143 knots,
Well,
now monitor you from 12385.
I find it hard to say typical because, you know, since I got the 900 for beta testing, I've primarily flown the 900. Prior to that, primarily the 800. Prior to that, the 600 when we've been testing that, and prior to that, the 700 because it was the only one available. So, personally, I find it a little bit hard to answer the question which type I'm usually flying. But I tell you honestly, now that the beta testing progress, or at least the large beta testing progress, is slowly coming towards an end with the release of the last type in question, I have a feeling that once I can finally freely decide which models I want to fly without the obligation to beta test and so, I'm probably going to fly them in a pretty mixed fleet, so...
Correction, KLM 66 Quebec, climb flight level 230.
KLM 66 Quebec, climb flight level 230.
Easy, 13 Alpha
That,
November.
230 checked.
160.
Enough, and then we have 230 set once, twice, and...
Flyby 2148, contact Amsterdam radar.
3 times, monitoring 1 to 1.5. Okay, so, yeah, I do believe that once all of the 737s are released to the market, which is going to happen on February the 7th, some point after 1800 UTC, once that is the case, I do believe that I'm going to fly a pretty mixed fleet operations, varying between the 6, 7, 8 and 900. And the reason for that is to keep things most interesting, because you just have that change of... one day you fly short-bodied 700, which got a lot of climb power, then the next day you fly a heavy 900, and the thing is really performance limited. And of course the tail strike limits, the difference in taxiing, and so on. So, yeah, I do believe I'm going to do mostly mixed fleet flying after the beta testing periods are over. And luxury VA, what is the difference between the blended and split skimitar winglets? Is it fuel efficiency or only decoration? It really is fuel efficiency. The split skimitar winglets start saving you fuel from approximately 2-hour flights onwards, and they will give you about a 2% saving on those long flights.
For November, report that heading to London on 129 at 425. Aegean 638, descend flight level 200.
Okay, so reading through all the chat messages that came in the meantime.
Bravo Echo, fly heading 145.
Flighterer, have I flown the 900 in real life? No, unfortunately not. I've flown the 700 and the 800s, and in a couple of days' time I'll finally get to fly the Max. But apart from that, those are the 737 types that I have flown or that I will be flying. I haven't flown the 600, and I will probably never fly the 900. But who knows? Maybe one day my employer changes mind and we are going to get a 900. But I don't really see that happening, to be honest. And luxury VA, can't wait for the 737 MAX to come out from PMDG. Totally agree. Then Gordon, my opinion on a fighter jets in Microsoft Flight Simulator. To be honest, I've never flown a real fighter jet, but just yesterday I flew with a captain who is quite proficient in fighters because he has flown them in the German Air Force for many years. And from what he told me, and from what I told him from those fighters I know in Microsoft Flight Simulator, there is nothing really good in there. But, of course...
Charlie, are you with me?
And something's asking, is there a release date for the 900 yet? Yep, February 7th, at some point after 1800 UTC.
Eurowings 147.
So, let's see what our ETA is going to be. Landing at 43, and I need to leave at 1500, as I still have a couple of real-life flights to do today. Well, that's what I call timing.
Really nice, Oscar. 45 Romeo.
Oh, just about reaching cruise level. VNAV. Let's take a few moments to talk about how I like the 900 in general. Now, it would be needless to say that I love it, because it's PMDG and I love anything PMDG. Just like Phoenix, Leonardo, and all those complex airliners. So I'm going to refrain from saying that. The 900 is a nice little difference to the 800, especially the 900ER, and we are going to do a live stream in that on February the 7th, I hope. It is quite nice to have those little differences in the flight model, and especially in the taxi model. Now, on top of that, it is quite interesting to fly those fast approaches in the 900. Let's see what the approach speed is going to be today. 151 VREF. So, if we have a VREF of 151, that means we'll have an approach speed of 156 knots. And that's exactly what I was just talking about. High approach speeds, compared to with better deceleration than the 800, really makes the 900 a little bit of a different beast. Also, if you ever get to fly one of those tourist 900 ERs, for example like CSA has them, with more than 200 seats installed, those zero fuel weights are going to go really high, and they're really a different beast to fly. Now, what's quite interesting as well, if you have a 900 ER, is the auxiliary fuel system. The ER has an auxiliary fuel tank installed in the front cargo hold and one in the aft cargo hold, but it does not have the indicator that you are used to from the Boeing business jets. So it still looks pretty much the same in the cockpit, with the differences that you have the additional switches installed up here above the electrical panel and behind the observer's audio control panel. And the system is basically fully automated, but it allows the airplane to fly quite a long distance of about 3,200 miles while still maintaining a full complement of passengers. And that's something that I'm looking forward to, or something that I did already enjoy doing actually in the beta process. You guys are going to remember the video that I released on the 900ER flight from Newark to Anchorage. And, you know, that kind of stuff is about as close to long haul as it gets with any of the add-ons that we have available at the moment, if we neglect the Innibuild 310 for a second.
Who else is that calling?
And Alec, are you still going to be transitioning to the new company flying the A330? If so, when do you begin that? Yes I will, but I don't know yet when that is going to start. Hopefully the end of the summer, but we'll see. Was that a call for us? No. Captain Crash is asking, is transatlantic possible from Germany to the US with the ER? Probably not from Germany, because that is a couple more miles. But from the UK, for example, yes, that is definitely possible. From the UK or Ireland, you should be able to reach New York. And Alan, will you also do some videos with the 777 when it's available? Yeah, I definitely will. I definitely will. And an interesting question from the Bear. When you fly in real life, can you tell when you have an older aircraft? I mean, are there aircraft in the fleet that you say, oh no, not that one, older and slower? To be honest, of course, we can somewhat tell because the cockpit looks a little bit more used, but
Left heading 255.
They do mostly fly the same, so there is nothing in the fleet where I would say, oh no, not that again.
Direct Cuckoo, 45 Bravo Alpha.
Ryanair 6 Uniform Yankee when ready, descend flight level 180 level by Idisi, route direct Idisi.
Descend flight level 180, direct Idisi and level by...
Alright,
Lufthansa 25 November, route direct Lambourne.
then Captain Crash with a second question. Why is it that the 737 has higher approach speeds than, for example, the A320? Is it because of the wing layout? Yeah, it primarily is. See, the 737 NG is quite a stretched version over the original airframe already, so that's why we get these hugely increased speeds over the previous aircraft. Now, they could of course install an even bigger wing, but it works with the wing that we have, and that actually optimizes it for the speed, so the higher approach speeds are basically a compromise between efficiency and handling characteristics in the 737 NG. Okay, so only 40 miles to run to the top of descent, so let's get an HOTAS. And what do we have? Amsterdam, here it is. So, info Foxtrot, main landing runway, 18 right, that's the polar bound, long taxi, transition level 35, wind variable 1 knot.
Contact Amsterdam radar 125.750, goodbye.
125.750, KLM 66 Quebec, bye bye.
Ryanair 5 Golf Tango, turn left direct Goodwood, Golf Whiskey Charlie, and climb flight level 250.
Dr. Golf Whiskey.
5, low climb, we have to build up speed first.
How's that 125 again?
We will be climbing slowly, we have to build up speed first.
Okay.
Amsterdam radar, good afternoon again, KLM 66 Quebec, flight level 230, inbound Redfar, information Foxtrot.
First Transavia 251, turn left heading 210, clear ILS 18 right.
Clear ILS 18 right, 250 was it?
210.
210, thank you.
KLM 66 Quebec, hello, cleared Redfar 1 Alpha, runway 18 right.
Redfar 1 Alpha, 18 right, KLM 66 Quebec. Okay, so
Orange 6 Juliet Alpha.
HOTAS is looking good, easy going. No need to worry about that anymore.
Ryanair 2 Hotel Tower reaching it.
Ryanair 2 Hotel Papa, roger descent according to profile, QNH 10.
Then,
clear to approach.
Let's see, runway 18 right.
Descend according to profile, clear
110.1.
approach, QNH 1036, Ryanair 2 Hotel Papa.
2 Hotel Papa, correct, report established.
Will go.
And the course is 182.
Kilometer 1 November, speed 250 knots. Speedbird 48, below flight level 100.
And 182. We're going to use auto brakes 1 for this, because we can really let it roll in on that runway. But let's get out some charts so that you guys can have a look yourselves.
Okay. Kilometer 1 November, after Sugol, direct Sierra, Papa Yankee. Speedbird 48 for you as well, after Sugol, direct Sierra, Papa Yankee. After Sugol, direct Sierra, Papa Yankee. KLM 66 Quebec, direct Sugol.
KLM 66 Quebec, direct Sugol. Okay, execute. Unavailable. Oh no.
Is it possible that you have a YouTube live stream somewhere? Because I think I would recognize your voice.
Guys, not over frequency please. Transavia 251, contact tower 119er, decimal 225.
Nice guy.
Contact tower 119er.
Is it possible you have a YouTube live stream? Oh yes, it is possible, my friend. And you are currently live in front of 200 people. Okay, so let's get that stuff on, and that's gonna be it.
Boeing 6 Juliet Alpha, descend to flight level 7.
So, we need this.
Heading 0.
Nope, not this. We have a taxi chart somewhere? No. Okay. Well, that's gonna be fine. We have what we need. So, ILS 18 right, let's see.
1 November, information is full.
182.
ILS 18 right, descend to flight level 40.
1101. Then, for the FMC, 250 below 100, 35 was the transition. And then we had QNH of 10... Where is it again? 1036. That in, and the winds, flight level 200 and flight level 100. I'm taking right from the OFP. Level 200 we have 318 and 34. And then at level 100 we're looking at 326 at 19.
KLM 66 Quebec, descent when ready, flight level 70.
KLM 66 Quebec when ready, descent level 70. That 70 checked. Okay, so winds are in, fixed rings from 18 right.
Speedbird 48.
We're going to use a 10-mile ring and a 4-mile ring.
Descent to flight level 40.
And that's all we need. Okay. So let's have a quick look into the routing, as I'm pretty sure we can expect a shortcut. At Sugal we are limited anyway, but after that, if you look at this routing, let's say we take Sugal to Alpha Mike 608 or something the likes. But Sugal is at flight level 100 anyway, so after that, we'll see what we're gonna get. Okay, so that's pretty much that. Then minimums 187 we can see. Okay, and that's it. So, descent checklist please. Pressurization, land out 0, anti-ice, off, approachment fuel, discussed, IS and outbox. Oh, there still is something left. So we're gonna burn 400 kilos, which is a landing weight of 66.3. And then we are gonna do flat 30 landing on this one. And auto brakes 1. And if we do that, we can vacate the runway pretty much at the end. Then we have a standard taxi coming, and that should be it. Any questions? Nope. Okay, so let's try that descent checklist once more. This time with everything selected. So, speed and altitude box, checked and set, descent checklist complete.
48, turn left heading 080.
And 2 miles to run till we leave our cruise level.
And for Mike Quebec.
Let's have a look into a couple of the passenger views that we have in the 900 as well. Now, those are the same as in the 800. I'm sure you're familiar with those, but let's go a little bit further forward and see what we have over here. Starting the descent right now, as you can see.
Ryanair 2 Papa established. Ryanair 2 Papa, thanks. The wind Eindhoven is calm and remains one, clear to that.
I really like this one. I wish we had a camera at the back, like they have on the larger Airbuses, or in the 777, so that we had a view like this on our cockpit displays. That'd be lovely. Of course it would just be a little toy to play with, but, you know, men don't get older, the toys just get more expensive. This is a lovely view, isn't it? And HK Flight Simulation is asking, there was an autobrake problem with the 737 earlier, where autobrake 1 never slowed the plane realistically, or so I heard. Is that correct? Now, to be honest, autobrake 1 is a really weak setting. You're looking at landing distances in the region of about 3,000 meters there with autobrake 1. So, yeah, autobrake 1 really isn't strong, but what PMDG did there is correct. Now, while I'm saying that what PMDG is correct, I have to tell you something. There was a problem with the autobrake in the PMDG aircraft, and it took a little while to figure out what the problem was. Now, whenever somebody of you asked me, is the autobrake and the deceleration correct in the 737, I always said yes. And I based my answer upon looking at the trend vector on the primary flight display when decelerating, and the trend vector matched what the real 737 showed. However, there was actually a problem. And the problem was not that the deceleration would have been incorrect, but the problem was that the auto brake took 3 seconds to activate after landing. Now, as soon as you touch down, you immediately got a trend vector, and that is the reason why I didn't notice that problem any earlier. But when PMDG finally looked into this, then they did see that basically there are 2 triggers for the auto brake in the 737. One of them is the air ground system going to ground mode. The other one is a little micro switch that activates upon landing. That wasn't simulated correctly, and that's why only the second trigger, which actually should have been the backup, worked. And that is the reason why we got this delayed auto brake activation, and why we got those 3 seconds delay. But that is fixed now, and you've probably seen it already previously on the landing in Heathrow, and you're definitely going to see it on the landing here in Schiphol as well, even though it will be a little bit less obvious, because auto brake 1 just isn't that effective. So what we will see is that the moment we touch down, the airplane is immediately going to start slowing down, so you will see that trend vector, the green one. However, since we are using auto brake 1, it will be a pretty small trend vector only.
Alright, I will change your flight plan to Heathrow, but you're gonna need a different routing. Let me try to find out what routing it would be.
Alright. So, that auto brake problem is fixed then. In HK Flight Simulation, auto brakes 2 never had issues. At least not on my system. It always took a little bit longer. It always took a little bit longer to decelerate the plane, but you had that 3 seconds delay. But after those 3 seconds, all the auto brake systems and settings did already work correctly. Hope that made sense, the way I explained it. So the deceleration rates were correct. It was only that any of those settings had a 3-second delay after them. And there is a question up there if auto brake 1 would basically equal idle reverse. No. Any of these auto brake settings commands a certain deceleration rate. So you're basically commanding the airplane, I want to lose so many knots of speed per second. And that is what the auto brake does. Now, the auto brake is always going to give you those same deceleration rates, regardless if you are using reverse thrust or not. At least as long as it can. If you land on a runway with a braking action poor, then it probably won't be able to, but that's a different topic. So the auto brake will always aim for the same deceleration rates, and the only difference you will get is if you are using more reverse thrust, then the auto brake is going to apply less wheel braking, so that you end up with the same deceleration rate. Okay, below 15,000, fast modes on.
At Romeo 2, cross runway 21, right at Papa. Amsterdam radar, Lufthansa 125, leaving the flight back for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
And Guillemard, any news about weather radar? No, PMDG is waiting for Asobo. As soon as Asobo provides a decent model, then you will, or a decent API. But yeah, until that is ready.
Just to confirm, 119.225.
The current weather radar API just provides a 2D top-down view. And, you know, that is useless. But I've done a separate video on that, and as of right now... After Sugo, Sierra Papa Yankee, KLM 66 Quebec. Okay, let's program that. Sierra Papa Yankee, after Sugo, spike the ball, execute, just go to level change for a second, so that we keep going down. So, Sugo and Sierra Papa Yankee.
And Alpha 6 Juliet Alpha, maintain speed 220 knots or greater.
Okay, let's build a place bearing point there. Sierra Papa Yankee 266 slash
Radar, Lufthansa 125.
AM 621.
Lufthansa 125, then you are
What's the reverse there?
900 to be
001.
level flight also.
Descending to
Let's see.
900 to be, which flight level that goes to?
That looks perfect.
For Mike, turn left heading 220, clear to ILS 24.
So here we go.
125 to 900 by also.
2900 by Gozo. Lufthansa 125.
And back to VNAV. So what I've just done there, ATC told us to proceed to Sierra Papa Yankee VOR after the waypoint Sugo. Now Sierra Papa Yankee is actually a tiny bit past the extended center line.
Quebec information is Foxtrot, vectors ILS approach runway 189, descent to flight level 40.
KLM 66 Quebec, info Foxtrot, descent flight level 40, vectors ILS, runway 18 right. That,
KLM 66 Quebec,
hold on,
correct
check.
for the moment, maintain speed 250.
P250 KLM 66 Quebec. Okay, level change. So yeah, what I've just created, Sierra Papa Yankee VOR would have been somewhere over here, so we would have gotten an incorrect VNAV guidance on the way in. And therefore, I basically created a place bearing waypoint. And that means that I've took the opposite of the course to Sierra Papa Yankee, so that it will draw a line up there. And then I took the final approach fix over here and took the opposite track as well. And then it calculated the new waypoint basically on the extended center line, but on the course from Sugo to Sierra Papa Yankee. And that is how this waypoint came up then. And now basically we're getting a good and usable VNAV guidance for arrival, while at the same time we are heading towards Sierra Papa Yankee as instructed by air traffic control. Okay, and we've passed 100, let's do the 10 checks. Fuel is balanced with 4 pumps on, lights on, angle of bank 25, aircon and press 4.0 descending set, fast modes on, recall checked 1 deselected, cabin crew 10 minutes to landing. 10 checks complete.
And Ryanair 24 Juliet, for your information, I will be closing in approximately, 5 minutes maximum. So we'll probably not do your whole
let's do the frisk then. Frequencies 110.1. Set. Fixed rings 18 right, 10 miles, 4 miles. Idents. Victor Papa Bravo, Victor Papa Bravo. Stemper instruments set, and the courses 182. 182, 182. Approach checklist. Altimeter instruments, approach checked, approach aids, checked and set, approach checklist complete.
Have a nice weekend. KLM 66 Quebec, descent to 2,000 feet, QNH 1036.
KLM 66 Quebec, descent 2,000 feet, QNH 1036. Set, 2,000 checked, set altimeter 1036, and now we need a little bit of speed brake. And 1036 passing 7,500, descending 2,000, no flag, standby set.
Boeing 6 Juliet Alpha, turn right, heading 160, clear to ILS 1 in.
Crossing 160, clear to ILS 1 in.
Boeing 6 Juliet Alpha, correct, speed 160, ordinator until 4.
And there's a question about the multimode receiver from Jay Henley. Does the MMR come on the PMDG 737 800 and 900? Yes, it does. It actually comes with any of the PMDG 737s.
KLM 73 Hotel, contact London, frequency 127.9 erbij.
And Konali, is there a possibility in the 737 to set an overfly waypoint? You can't do it manually. So an overfly waypoint, if it's contained in the nav database, then the plane is going to follow it. But if it's not in the nav database, then you will not be able to manually select the overfly point. So unlike the Airbus, the 737 does not have any such function for the pilot to do that manually. Okay, plus 9 degrees, approaching some clouds. Let's go anti-ice on. Bye-bye.
Ryder 2 for Juliet, that's correct. This will set you up for a base turn for the runway 18 right. Thereafter you can vector yourself onto final. Bird 6 Juliet Alpha, contact tower 1.9er, decimal 225, bye-bye.
Okay, temperature's plus 10 now, but I'll just keep the anti-ice on for a moment.
KLM 66 Quebec, reduce speed, that's convenient for the approach.
Free speed, KLM 66 Quebec. Okay, that's just perfect. Well, let's start going to the up speeds.
Delta 1 Flavican.
So as the speed is now about to reduce, you will see the true air temperature falling as well. That's the reason I left the anti-ice on previously, because chances are we'll have temperatures in the icing range in a moment.
Finnair, Lima, I'll be closing in a minute here. Upon reaching waypoint upnet, contact London control frequency 127.1. Have a good day.
Okay, so heading select. Keep in mind we are still on the course to Sierra Papa Yankee, even though I built that waypoint over here. So to avoid the airplane from turning onto final by itself, I've just gone into heading select so that we keep flying straight ahead. Even though I do expect the final vector from ATC any moment. Flaps 1. Speed checked.
KLM 66 Quebec, turn right heading 150, clear ILS 18 right.
Turn right heading 150, clear to LS 18 right, KLM 66 Quebec. Okay, that's exactly what I meant. Here we go. So, glide slope, we are right on it. As we can see on the standby. Here we go. Very nice. Plus 5. So, cleared ILS. Approach is armed. Vertical speeds.
I'll be closing in a minute. I'm on a Unico bus to the slate. Go ahead.
Flaps 10.
Ik weet niet of die Ryanair hier op de kwartier is, maar de innet was er mij.
Localizer capture, Glasgow capture. I'm heading 182, missed approach altitude, 2000 feet set.
Ja, laat het maar lekker rollen, joh. Ik ga toch zo weg.
Ja, toch, tot bij de kant.
Hoi.
KLM 66 Quebec established.
KLM 66 Quebec, thank you. You are almost number 1, contact tower 119225. Have a good day.
119225 KLM 66 Quebec, thanks you too. Gibraltar, good afternoon, KLM 66 Quebec, ILS 18 right. Continue KLM 66 Quebec. Yeah, let's put some lights on, it's getting rather dark down here already. Okay, cabin is secure. So, zero wind, and you can see what the airspeed is doing. Runway 18 right, clear to land, KLM 66 Quebec. So, very nice idle thrust approach. Just get to use a little bit of thrust right now to maintain the speed. And keep in mind, this was with the engine anti-ice on. Okay, 4 miles to run, gear down, flap 15. And flaps 30. Landing checklist, start switches, continuous, recall, checked, speed brake, armed, green light, landing gear, down 3 green, auto brake, 1 set, flaps 30, 30, green light, landing lights on, landing checklist complete. Okay, so, as he said, after landing 1 to 1.8, And here we go. So, approach speed, 155 knots indicated. Now imagine doing this to a high altitude airport and you might easily end up with approach speeds in the region of 160, 165 knots true airspeed. Lovely view there. Okay, so let's start flying an airplane here. So we want to take the third exit to the left.
Minimums.
Continue.
100.
Ignoring the glide slope on purpose.
40. 30. 20. 10.
Keep brake up. Thrust was normal. So, exit number 1. $80 knots, exit number 2, and we want to take the next one. Okay, manual brakes. And exit number 3. Lovely little bump in the terrain here. So let's call ground.
Negative Sierra 5 was cleared, but it's no problem if you can make it, that's fine. Just
So no traffic whatsoever over here, we'll just continue straight for now.
Lufthansa 6 November via able for Sierra 4 and sorry for Lufthansa 6 November, no problem as long as you can take off from there, it's no worry on my side. Contact tower 119.225. Lufthansa 6 November, tower 119.225, thanks.
Couple ground, hello, KLM 66 Quebec, 18 right located.
KLM 66 Quebec, triple ground, a very good afternoon to you. Taxi stand Delta 48 at Whiskey 5, cross runway 18 center.
Delta 48 at Whiskey 5, cross 18 center, KLM 66 Quebec. Okay, so let's start to get the airplane rolling first of all, because this is going to be quite a long taxi. And when it's rolling, we can do the cleanup, and then I'm going to show you the taxi route.
Finish Airways, Airbus A320, passing right to left behind, pushback and start approved, information Foxtrot turn to an H103.
John is 103, and wait for the traffic behind, no pushing back, KLM 103.
KLM 1031, the traffic has already passed at this point.
Okay, push back and start up to KLM 103.
Cutting the corner a little bit over here, but this taxiway is big enough for a 747, then it can also take a 737-900.
Alpine 5 Bravo Tango and Alpha 8, you're free to the fin Airbus A320 coming to the left again.
Triple ground KLM 165, fully ready for push start.
Alpine 5
Okay,
Bravo
now comes
Tango
the very
and
long
Alpha 8,
taxi.
you're free to the Finnish Airlines Airbus A320 coming right to left, please.
I can do key away a bit,
Fin Air 2 Echo Golf, contact tower 119.225.
119.225 for Finnair 2.
Lovely how the simulator stutters when you get out the Navigraph charts.
119.225.
Okay, so we're currently over here on Victor, and we go via Whiskey 5, we cross 18 center, he's given us that already, and then you can see from the arrows on the charts over here that we have a standard taxiway system, and that means we'll turn right on Delta, go all the way down here, And then if we look at the parking stand charts, we can also see the standard system on taxiway Alpha and Bravo. So Alpha is the one to the right. So we're going to continue on Alpha, all the way around, down here, and then Delta 48 is in here. So that is what we're gonna do. Takes a little while to taxi this, but remember our landing weight was more than 63 tons, so we cannot do single engine taxi on this. We'll have to keep both engines running, which of course is a pity for the environment, but better this way than if we have to do cross-bleed start to get the other engine running again.
Via Alpha 6 due to traffic pushing onto Alpha 8.
We'll go by Alpha 6 or 438.
And the HK flight simulations, wow, 3 kilometers of taxi. Honestly, it's probably even more. So, clear on both sides, we cleared across. So, then next right onto Delta.
Speedbird 1 Charlie Tango, ready to taxi.
Speedbird 1 Charlie Tango, when clear of the company approach A320 coming left to right, taxi only point Sierra 7, runway 24.
After passing company Airbus 320, Sierra 7 to 24.
Here we go. And now we continue all the way to Alpha.
And all stations, the blades information to all Falcon.
Lovely looking aircraft, the 900. Okay, that's Bravo, which is next. We don't go into this one, but we go into Alpha. So here we got it, Bravo. And here comes Alpha. Yep, that's written, Alpha. Off we go. Okay, so, while we're taxiing to the gate, which is definitely going to take a couple more minutes, let me answer a couple of the questions that you guys have posted in the meantime.
Speedbird 1 Charlie Tango.
And first of all, hello Cesari59, and hello William, nice to see you two over here. Now, question from William, the range difference between the 900 and the 900ER, that is approximately 400 miles, so for the 900 you're looking at roughly... make that 2,600 mile range, but in the 737-900ER, with the two auxiliary tanks installed, you can make about 3,200 nautical miles. And W Aviation, what is the name of the scenery for Amsterdam? It is the Asobo scenery, and I'm using a freeware extension to the Asobo scenery from flightsim.to. So it is that Asobo Premium Deluxe Amsterdam, and then a freeware expansion for that from flightsim.to. And Rocco, 18 Ride is always a sightseeing tour. Oh yes, my friend. Coyote, will PMDG be releasing a 737 MAX? Yes, they will, after the 747 most likely.
Confirm that is via Alpha 5.
And something unpredictable is asking, what is the FLT ignition setting used for? That is for engine in-flight starts.
KLM 1031 Alpha.
So
5.
basically, when you're doing a windmilling start,
Alpha
then
5.
that would be when to use those.
Thank you.
And Tyranny Andrews, I wonder if doing this prior to work increases confidence. For those of you who just joined the chat, I said earlier on that
KLM 66 Quebec, advise ready to copy new gate assignment.
KLM 66 Quebec ready.
KLM 66 Quebec, taxi to gate Delta 57 by Alpha 10.
Delta 57 by Alpha 10, KLM 66 Quebec. Okay, let's see where we got that.
KLM 1665, fully braced,
Alpha
taxi.
5, Delta 57, okay, over here.
Sierra 7,
So basically we are just making the turn up
Sierra
here,
724.
and then the first to the right after the turn, and then the first gate on the left side, Delta 57. Okay, we can do that. And quick look into GSX, see if we can find that. If anybody can make that stupid GSX window not constantly changing sizes, that would be much appreciated. So Delta 57. Follow me, no thanks. Anthem by KLM. And the gate is just up there, so let's get the APU on.
KLM 1031, contact triple tower 119.225.
Contact 119.225, KLM 1031.
Okay, so I'll quickly put the airplane into the gate, then I'm going to answer more comments and questions. Keep them coming. I'll just quickly focus on not breaking my airplane. Would be a pity if I break it on parking now, and that would delay the release a couple of weeks, right? By the way, for those of you who just joined and haven't seen it yet, the release date for the 737-900 is going to be the 7th of February at some point in time after 1800 UTC. Okay, and here we are, engine 2 shutdown. Gotta save at least a little bit of fuel. And here we are. Parking brake set. APU on. And engine number 1 cut off.
Ryanair 24 Juliet, Juliet 150.
Hey Sam, just approaching rating.
Ryanair 24 Juliet, Juliet.
So, engine 1 and 2 below 20%, anti-collision light off, shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps 1 on, electrical, APU, fasten belts off, window heat off, probe heat auto, anti-ice off, electric hydraulic pumps off, voice recorder, auto, air compacts off, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off, exterior lights steady, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down to 10, flaps up and light, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather
Negative,
radar
I've got a problem. I don't know what it is, but I'll call
transponder
you
2000,
back soon.
sorry, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CBRCB in, cockpit door unlocked, checklist complete. Okay, that's it. So, welcome to Amsterdam, everyone. Let's get some ground services going and get them to connect to the airplane. So, we will be using a jetway today. Request that, please. Okay, so here we are. Modestas MacPherson, February 7th for the release. Yes, sir. February the 7th, at some point in time after 1800 UTC. Then, Pat Pilot is asking, is there a way to turn the fuel flow indicators off? No, it's not. So, for those of you who wonder, this is the fuel flow indicators he's asking about, and in real life those are optional. So, there are some aircraft which don't have them, especially some older 737s. Unfortunately, PMDG does not model this as an option right now, so there is no way to disable this for now. Personally, I've requested it from PMDG as well already, but they just never got around doing it, so that's the reason we don't have it right now. Then, finally, a little bit of silence there. Eric, does this livery come with a 737 or is it an external one? It comes with a 737. Then, Stefan, what is the typical thrust setting for starting to taxi on the apron? It's a maximum of 40% N1, but it's a maximum of 40%. You should try with less, like 30 to 35, but you can use up to 40, but no more. Then Randy, how many liveries are included with the 737-900? Well, why don't we just about have a look? Takes a little while for the operations center to start up, but don't worry about that. And here we go. Thanks, I don't need any updates right now, but I do need the livery utilities. So, this is for the 737-900, the liveries, which is Alaska Airlines in the classic paint scheme. And then we have KLM in the 2002, that is the one that we've just been flying. And then we've got United Airlines. And all of them have an accurate and verified airline configuration for the real aircraft. Then let's have a look into the 900ER, which is definitely the bigger package. So in here we have several different versions of Alaska Airlines. Then we have a fictional British Airways, because people just love British Airways. Then we have a Delta in a couple different liveries. El Al, Korean Airlines. And then if we go down a little bit further, we have Lion Air. We have a fictional Lufthansa livery. Olympic, also fictional, then SpiceJet, Thai Lion, Turkish Airlines, and then we have a couple of different United Airlines liveries that are going to come with the 737. Then, William, personal question, have you ever crashed the 737 in the simulator? Let me think about it. Maybe once or twice when there has been one of those super violent wind changes that caused a stall on final approach. I believe I've had that, but that was due to a simulator bug, so it doesn't really count. Then Modestas, how much more range does the 900ER have over the 800? Well, we're talking about something in the region 200-300 nautical miles extra. Then, Chaos Hamster, did your work get cancelled, or why aren't you gone yet? No, it didn't, and indeed I need to go in a few minutes' time, so I'm, in about 5 minutes I have to close the live stream. But until then, I'm still gonna be here. Then, Bravo 4, Romeo Tango Indy X-Ray, is the EFB going to be included in the 900 release? Negative, it will not. Have a look into the 900 release day announcement video I posted today, or have a look into the thread that Robert Randazzo posted yesterday on the PMDG forums, where he gave a couple more details about the current status of the EFB. And Stefan Hayner, I see piles and piles of United 737-900s at the max takeoff weight, eating up all 12,000 feet of the runway at Denver next week. Yep, you name it, my friend. I flew the 900 out of Denver at max takeoff weight in the beta testing, and you are gonna do a full 27k takeoff, and you will still lift off just about at the end of the runway. It's just lovely. It's just lovely, this plane. Then, Krella Pilot, can you do a tutorial on the Boeing OPT app? I did already. You can find that on my channel. Antia, is there a BBJ version of the 900? In real life, yes. In Flight Simulator, no. So in real life, there is the BBJ3, but that is not simulated by PMDG. And similarly, somebody else asked a little bit earlier up if there is a 737 cargo version of the 900 included, and the answer is no, there is not. Personally, I don't even know if one exists in real life. So, I don't even know if that exists in real life. If it does, then PMDG did not simulate it. In any case, the add-on includes the 900 and the 900ER versions, but only those two. And Chaos Hamster, do I fly as a hobby as well, so VFR, general aviation? Well, I used to, but with all the flying I'm doing in the 737 nowadays, I kinda stopped doing it, but I'm sure that one day I am going to do it once again. So, then, as always, there is no hiding place, I gotta show you my landing. So let's go ahead and do just that. Loading up Sim Toolkit, stand by. And Stefan, thank you very much. Can I tell you where I'm going later on? It's going to be Milano. That much I can tell you. Excuse me for not saying which of the 3 airports and so on. Then, King J13, can I explain the difference between the 900 and the 900ER? Yes, I can. So, the 900 was the first version of the 737-900 series that got, well, I'll just call it released by Boeing. And it featured only 8 exits, as we can see on the screen here right now. And with 8 exits, the authorities limit the airplane to a maximum of 189 passengers, so it has the same amount of maximum passengers as the 737-800 does. And for that reason, the 900 did not really sell well to the airlines. Now, because of that, Boeing thought, okay, we have to add an additional door. And they added that additional emergency exit door in the aft section of the airplane here. And by that, the maximum amount of passengers the airplane is certified to carry increased to 220 passengers. And on top of that, they added an option to include auxiliary fuel tanks, one in the forward cargo hold, one in the aft cargo hold, from which airline can choose if they want to have those installed on the airplane, and those will increase the range of the airplane as well. For example, a typical scenario that you would see of the 900 using or making use of those additional tanks is for US operators when they fly to the Hawaiian Islands. So especially in flights to Hawaii, they have usually dense seating configurations, and they need to use those additional auxiliary fuel tanks in order to make the 6-hour trip to Hawaii. Other cases, for example, include Turkish Airlines flying the 737-900ER on long-haul flights to Middle Africa. So that's been another example where those additional tanks have been used. Alright, I'm gonna close this live stream now because I have to go to work, and I'm going to close with a question from William. How many sectors do I have to fly in real life today? Luckily, it's only going to be 2 sectors. So, thank you very much everyone for joining. I hope that you have enjoyed today's live stream. If you did, then do let me know in the comments below what you think about the 900. I'm really looking forward to show it to you, hopefully on the release day and around release time for a flight in the 900ER, where I'm going to show you some of the differences. But that's going to be it from my side. If you want to support the channel, you can either become a channel member, where you might get exclusive access to early videos, and in first class membership you even have the chance to request custom videos. Okay, so final thing. I promised you I wouldn't hide from my landing, so here it is. That's what we just did. 18 right, touchdown on centerline, 1 marker behind the optimum at 91 feet a minute. In other words, perfect landing. I'm really happy with that, and that shall be the end of the live stream. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'm really looking forward to see you guys flying the 737-900 very soon, but that's going to be it from my side. Thank you very much for watching.